The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T, here on Seawall Wednesdays. Joint practice versus the Baltimore Ravens. Yikes. That was rough. Candy's going to give us the lowdown on what she saw today, how things turned out, and what's next for the Washington Commanders in her eyes heading into a very pivotal stretch. They've got, of course, their final preseason game on Friday versus these same Ravens. But more importantly, they've got some decisions to make with the roster. And then are the right guys even here? The offensive line was a mess today, among other things. Candy, how are you doing today?
You know what? I'm actually doing all right.
Yes, that is refreshing to hear.
I'm okay.
You're doing well. And I'm so glad that you're doing well. Candy suggested that we do something today to start off the show, and I thought it was a great idea. She said, how about we do a breathing exercise just to relax everybody, calm everybody down. So what I'm going to do now is ask everybody to close their eyes. I'm going to play some soft, relaxing music, all right? And we're just going to breathe. All right, deep breaths in and out, okay? Y'all ready? Let's start off. In, out. One more time. Deep breath in and out. Doesn't everybody feel better? Everybody calm down.
I feel like it worked.
Right. All right. Now we're going to have Candy give us her interpretation of the day that was today, the joint practice that. And now, can I say this, Candy? I don't think you would mind me saying this. Me and Candy have been talking 2-3 days previous. We've been talking leading up to the joint practice. She said, Louie, I'm just going to let you know, it's not going to be good. So I'm just going to tell you. And she told me this on Monday. I was like, Candy, you think it's going to be that? She said, Louie, I'm telling you, it's not going to be good. I'm just letting you know right now, it's not going to be good. I said, Candy, it can't be that bad. She's like, Louie, it's not going to be good. Today, she told me this morning, I'm just going to go in here. I'm just going to do my job. I'm not going to say nothing. She said, I don't even have no questions for DQ. I don't even got no questions for her. I'm going to sit back and just watch this thing. She said, she was talking to me about the center position. And remember, if y'all go back way back into time, go back in the archives, we had Candy on, I want to say this was right around, I want to say it was right before the start of camp. It might have been mini camp. And I asked Candy to list her camp battles. Do y'all remember what was at the very top, the tippy top, or as a wise man likes to say, what was at the top of the pile? It was the center position. Candy was telling us about the center position. Now, she couldn't predict that Nick Allegretti was going to get hurt, but she didn't care about Nick Allegretti. The point was she didn't feel like we had a competent starting center on the roster, and it was going to be a shit show. She told us then. I don't want to say we didn't want to listen because we knew the center position wasn't great. We just didn't think it was going to be this bad. But Candy knew. She foreshadowed. She told us. And like always with Candy, how many times do we always say, Candy told us this, didn't she? We circle back, right? We hear Candy, but we're not listening, right? We hear, but we won't be listening. It's two different things. You can hear Candy, you're not listening. We always circle back and say, yeah, remember when Candy told us that 3 months ago? Remember when Candy told us that 2 months ago? Remember when Candy told us that a month ago? Remember when Candy told us that 2 weeks ago? Here we are again. Candy told us the center position was a problem probably back in July. I want to say it was in like mid to early July. Here we are in late August having the same conversation, and now it's really bad. So, Candi, the floor is yours. You were at joint practice today. You can start wherever you want. We're all ears. Tell us about the day that was today out in Owings Mills with the Ravens and Commanders joint practice.
Yeah, I mean, and if I really want to be technical, what I told you at mandatory camp, since you brought it up, was who was in the center battle. Remember, that was going to be the week that everything was going to illuminate or reveal itself because of the way they were doing mandatory minicamp. Remember, it was like they were going to split up the first team and
they put them on the far field.
And third, we're going to do this, that, and the third. I was like, oh, there's a battle for center. He was like, who possibly could it be? And I just listed them all.
What are you talking about?
And you were like, Julian Good-Jones is doing what?
What?
And I was like, center.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
that's not okay, Candi.
I'm like, look, Louie, I'm just telling the news.
I'm just giving you the facts.
Telling you the names of the people that I see. And so the alarm, if it should have gone off in June when you even heard the names. I also mentioned, I keep calling him Matt G because I don't know if it's Gublin. We were all like, I don't care.
Galvin. We've been calling him Galvin.
Galvin.
Yeah, Galvin. Yeah.
I'm like, did you realize? Could be something, could be nothing. You know, my could be something, could be nothing. It's often something.
It's usually 95% of the time, 95.73 to be exact percent of the time. It's something.
I'm like, did you know that he's the only like actual center?
True center.
Like true center, like position group, the only one with a C by their name in the season for like captain. It's center. It's center. Did anybody know that? So I've literally been like, and a developmental piece for what reason? Oh, this is the developmental ground now?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. All right. I just wanted to bring that back up because there's like a clear track record of us having this conversation. Now, did we know it was going to go into late August?
No.
Not in this way.
No.
But it had all of the makings to be going into late August.
We just couldn't predict Nick Allegretti was going to get hurt. Because we didn't think even if he was participating, he wouldn't be this bad. You know what I mean? He could have not been up to what we would prefer it to be, but he wouldn't have been this bad.
He wouldn't have been this bad. And I think too, remember what was it? The first day of practice, second day of practice when he got hurt or you went off and I said, Louie, I'm trying to preserve my positive. I don't. And I said, yes, I saw it, but I blocked it out because it's something I'm going to have to deal with at some point, and I just don't want to have to deal with it today. And so Louie's 100% right as always. Yes, I gave him the heads up 48, maybe 72 hours ago. Like, look, this isn't going to be good, okay? As you all know, Bowie TV covers the Baltimore Ravens as well, and I've been one of the people who spends a lot of time up there in Owings Mills, so I know what they look like. Yeah. And as everyone knows, I spend all my time with the Commanders, but when they're off, I go over there. Yeah. And sometimes they have dates. Like I can make both. And some days I do both in the same day. Crazy. We'll talk about that another day.
Yep.
I know what they look like. I know what they've looked like in their joint practice, just from who I know and let me be very clear. I know what the team looks like, but the Ravens defense, because they give Lamar Jackson, Declan Doyle, Lamar Jackson and company on offense, they give them a time. And they do look better than the Commanders offense, right? So I'm like, if they look better, like this is going to be a long day for the Commanders offense. The Ravens defense is like in midseason form right now. Now it's typical for the defense to be a bit ahead
of the offense,
right? Of the offense. But there's just some different type of people over there. And how they're doing things and how they move and how they evaluate talent, how they draft. It was going to be a long morning. And so I did tell Louie, like he already shared with you all, I'm not even asking any questions. I'm going in here to work, to do my job.
Head down.
And I'm gonna just keep my head down.
And do my work. Do my job.
ran like I was running like a track star between every field, and people who saw me was like laughing, like, you are really working today. Because it helps keep my nerves.
Yeah. That's why. So you know what? That explains why you're in such great spirits tonight.
Yeah, because I was like, I like, it's just, and it's one of those things. Let me also be clear. I don't like being right when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. You know what I mean? It's not like, yeah, I told y'all. I mean, yes, I told you all, but I tell you all so you can temper your expectations.
Yes, and that's important.
And that's important.
That's very
like,
important.
temper your just please, because
that's
it's not good.
That's why it was important that I see the starters in some capacity in the preseason. That's why I wanted to see them, even though it was so brief that you could have just kept that, honestly. But I just needed to see it. So now my offensive expectations, they're way lower than they were a week ago after seeing that mess that they put out on the field against Detroit. And we'll talk more about that. Well, we'll talk more about just, the overall feel of the offense after we get through joint practice today. But it helps you to set your expectations at a reasonable level.
Yes, 100%. And it's I might jump around a lot here, right? I might jump around a lot because I think I'm probably everywhere with it, because my goal was to watch the Commanders offense and the Ravens defense. I was going to stomach it. I ended up, at least through the one-on-ones and part of the beginning parts of like the team drills with the Commanders defense, Ravens offense. That's just because of the luck of where everybody is, you know what I mean? In terms of, where the fields where I was, I just so happened to be standing. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay over here, catch these one-on-ones, then I'll go on over here. I do know what happened in the Commanders offense, Ravens defense one-on-ones, because I do want to get to that, like the one-on-one stuff, because I know they're always a conversation starter. But just the difference in how what you may see happen in a one-on-one and how it actually translates in team drills. We can get to, let's put a pin into that. But I said, I'm going to withstand it to watch the Commanders offense in the Ravens defense. Because, primarily, so, and let me be clear, the Ravens starters have not played all preseason, and they won't. Yeah. They've treated, they had 2 days of joint practice in Minnesota where their starters were primarily, that's where all your reps come from. That's it. And that's what's today. It was a lot of their starters. Of course, the backups come in at some point, Right.
But the bulk of it is the starters.
Right. 100%. Yeah. So I was going to sit through it, stand through it. Let me be really clear about something. Jaden Daniels is having a phenomenal camp. This is truly unfortunate what is happening because he is having a phenomenal camp. And I would hate to see something like this be the Achilles heel for this team, where when Jaden is doing all that he possibly can for the team to be successful in terms of his role as the quarterback of this football team. I would hate for it to be the reason, right? Because he's doing what he is. He is. Anybody who is concerned about Jaden, you should not be.
I don't think any of us are.
I know last week it was like, well, we don't know Jaden. No. He is fine.
I don't want to speak for everyone. I'll speak for the vast majority of the fan base. We know what Jaden is, right?
100%. And he's, he's doing everything he can do. But if the line can't hold, we're also need to be fair in context. Laramie Tunsil is out. Yep. They do not have they have a player that can play center, right? But they do not have a good, healthy center.
Yeah. They have a warm body right now.
I don't even think they got to have that. It's just they don't have they don't have anything. You know, they don't
Yeah.
like it's just not they don't have a health. Like I tweeted it, so I'm gonna say what I tweeted. They don't have a healthy, good center.
Yes.
They don't have that. And then Sam Cosmi was out today.
Correct. That's a big part that people have to keep in mind. That is a big
part of the context of why it already looks bad. We know.
Correct.
But it looked even worse. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why am I watching this? Because why am I watching this? Because it's not even a realistic preview. But at the same token, it kind of is.
Yeah. You know what I'll say too, Candi, to add to that? I think today was necessary. Because so often with this organization, it feels like with these two in particular, Dan Quinn and Adam Peters, I don't want to say they lie to themselves, but they try to ignore the elephant in the room. If things are just good enough, they feel like they can get by, right? They did it with the wide receiver position last year. They did it with the field goal kicking position last year. You know, we've seen them do that where they kind of just brush it off like, okay, we're fine. Like there was signs that the receiver position all summer last year wasn't good enough. And they told themselves, oh, Terry will be back after the contract situation and Noah Brown will get healthy, something he's never really been, but he'll get healthy and we'll be fine. They brought in Kendrick Bourne. They didn't sign him because they didn't think they needed him. And they could have used him last year. And you talked about it with me, and at some point, I'm pretty sure you'll share how you feel, like a parallel between the center position and some other things that you've seen in the past. But it's to a point where they needed a day like today to force them to do something. Because if they would have went out and had a solid day today, they would have lied to themselves and said, you know what, Matt Goldman can be a solid backup for us this year. They already know Julian Good-Jones ain't the answer. I don't think he's making a roster, by the way, Candi. I don't think he's making a roster.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad. I really do. Because he didn't put himself in this situation.
I don't. He's not a good football player. He's not good at football.
You know, I mean, he was a depth player anyway. Like not even like the backup. It was like the backup's backup. Right. And then he got put in this situation. That's why I say I feel bad for him, because it's like you got put in this situation.
That's what you want as a player. You want an opportunity like this to prove that you could be more than just the backup's backup.
So here's the interesting thing. This where it goes to, do you spend time with the Ravens? Yes, the Ravens center who was prepped and primed to start got injured.
Danny Pender.
Joint practice. Danny Pender. And he got a season-ending knee injury.
They just put him on IR today.
But you know what? They had two backups ready to go that are actual centers.
And you know what? One of them was available just a month and a half ago.
He was with Cleveland. So they, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm going with I almost feel bad for Julian Good-Jones. He's not a center. Yeah. He's just not. So it's like you see how other teams move. You watch how other teams move. It's a little different when you have actual centers. I get versatility. I 100% get versatility. But would you ask your quarterback to be your receiver? Like there's sometimes you just need.
I don't need my electrician to be my plumber.
They have other centers.
Yeah. Like legit.
That's why they can put him in. Position. Yeah. That's why they can put him in and they can still play. It looks like, you know. So it's just like, gosh, you're just making somebody do something because they can, but can they do it well? No. Right. And I said that when in mandatory camp, when I went through the names, here's who I saw at center. And you were like, whoa, back up.
Yeah.
Who?
Right.
And
because I knew how this movie was going to end. I knew how the movie was going to end when you started naming guys like Julian Good-Jones. I was like, no, Candi. He can't be in the mix. He was like, yeah, he is Louie.
And I think I was like number 61, right? And then number 61, that's him. Yeah. And so that's what I was like. And this is a competition. And then I ended up bringing it up. It came up in mandatory camp. And then that's when they said, yes, we have a battle for the center position. And I said, Lord, this is not going to end well. And so I look at how the whole preseason has gone, and I'm like, I can't prove right now if this is what they did. But if they did do this might, I feel you. You start with the Dolphins. Maybe you predicted that was a lesser opponent. You were right. Mm-hmm. But in that regard, your offensive line was still up and down that day. I told you, I was like, well, the offensive line was kind of up and down. But still, okay. Then here comes Detroit. Detroit didn't do any joint practices here, but just still your second game. A little bit above. The Baltimore Ravens, you all, have always been consistently a very good football team. No, they did not make the playoffs last year, but they've still always been a very, very good football team. And having this offense and the defense go up against them was definitely like each week is a test. I feel like each one, it was like a level up in team based on where they currently are, so that you can be very real. You can be very real about with yourself about where your team is. Yep. Now, here's another thing that I learned, like I really became abundantly clear to me today. We already know that the thing with this, we get it. All right, fine. Sam Cosmi also out today, all this. These injuries, I don't know what this is about. And a great point came up on another show, on the Fox Sports show that I do, about, these guys, you want them to be in crazy shape. All of these guys are across the league, everybody. But are you training too hard for too long? Because if you're training from the mandatory camp to training camp used to be the ground where you got in shape for the season. Now, essentially, you've been working out from May through August. You might already be worn out a bit. You know what I mean? Because this is like, I look across the league.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is bad. Like,
the game has changed, Candi. It's changed.
And they might need to. This goes with a whole nother conversation. Like, they might need to increase the roster size because these guys aren't holding up.
Yeah,
to September. If you're working out like this, like, when are you off? What is your recovery day?
That's the thing. There's really no real time off. Nope. Like, if you want to be an elite player, guys take about 2 to 3 weeks off after the season is done to get their bodies right again. Maybe take a little vacation with their families, and then they hit the field again. They start working out again because you got to stay competitive. Justin Jefferson is working out right now. So if I'm Terry McLaurin, if I'm Jamar Chase, if I'm one of these upper echelon wide receivers, I'm trying to make sure I keep pace with the best in the league. I got to be training too. And so it didn't used to be that way, 15, 20 years ago.
That's exactly right, Louie. It was not that way in the past. So you're exactly it didn't used to be that way. It is now. And so it makes you really sit and think, okay, if you've been training like this since, let's just say, May, you probably started in April, you probably started in March, like you said, maybe the only time they really take off is February, maybe January for the teams that don't make the playoffs, right? I don't know. Because here's the thing. I saw when Caleb Vaughn got hurt. He came out, he worked with the trainer for a little bit, and I was like, well, if he hurt, maybe he don't need to go back in there. He's a football player. He probably didn't even realize he was hurt. He was like, oh, I feel all right. I'm going back in. That's what he did. That's what football players do. Can't fault him for that. You know what I mean? But it's like injuries. And everybody will say, well, it's football. Injuries are going to happen. True. But the pace at which they're happening, when they're happening, it's worth taking a look at, including dietitians, nutritionists, strength coaches, what other changes may have happened from a staff. And I do know of a couple. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'm going to go down that path, because here is the other truth. Where there were changes made on this, okay, no, they didn't address center appropriately, but where there were absolutely changes made with this team, those players are hurt. They're hurt right now. And they need them. I can tell you right now, they need Caleb Vaughn and Odafe. I've been said that. I said that. That's when they got hurt. I said, whoa, they're minor. I don't think so. And so
I mean,
it's
DQ told us yesterday that, or I think it might have been 2 days ago, he's not sure if
I know.
Adafe will be ready for week 1.
100%.
Like
I know.
that's not what we wanted to hear. Now he did say, I will say about a number of guys that are banged up that they would be playing if they had like an actual game on Sunday, they would be pushing through and they would be able to play. I think they're taking it slow with some of those guys. So you think like a Deron Payne, for instance, that's an undisclosed injury. He hasn't told us anything. You think he's like really hurt?
If he weren't, he would practice, is what I'll say.
Yeah. I think for some of those guys, I think they're just being overly. I think last year, and I've said this a number of times, last year scarred them, as it should have. They are now to the point where if you have a paper cut and you're a proven, established guy, we're going to keep you out until we need you. I'm not saying that some of these injuries aren't serious, because like you said with Adafe, I don't know he just told us it's a knee with Kaylavon, like, and to compare it and contrast it, Rashad had a hamstring, but he's doing indie work. These other guys ain't doing nothing. And if they are, it's like stretching, side field type stuff. It ain't them actually getting in individual work, which would let you know that they're close. So clearly there's something wrong with them to the point where they don't even want them doing individual work. So absolutely something's wrong with them. But to what extent? I mean, I'm nervous when you tell me, because we got 3 weeks before the season opener. That seems like plenty of time for somebody who's dealing with something that's not serious for them to be back. He's already been out for, 2 weeks, because he got hurt during the joint practice versus the Dolphins. So you're talking about 5 weeks, essentially, and you still telling me he might not be back? That's when I start to get nervous.
Well, you should, and that's why I'm telling you, and that's why I'm bringing it up. Like if they were able to practice, they would. I'm being very direct here.
Yeah, he said he's going to give us an update on Sunday or whenever he's going to talk to the media.
I mean, look at what happened with Nick Allegretti. Remember, I called BS on that too. Remember?
Yeah, you did.
I straight up. I was like, no, it ain't. All right, whatever. And because I am there and I do know, but I also know they don't have to say it out loud.
Right.
But if I come on here or wherever I am, I'm going to be like,
that ain't true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I haven't been wrong yet. It's not.
Nope.
It's not true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, because I mean, you're not gonna bubble wrap somebody that needs the reps. You feel me? Like you just not like, and it's nobody in there that's above not needing the reps. If Jaden is out there, Terry's out there, Stephon Diggs out there, they need to go out there and play. They can't.
Yeah.
I'm assuring you of this. And so that was why I panicked. I mean, hey, I don't mind saying that I panicked, right? Even as a member of the media. Remember, I shared with you, I think it hadn't been last Wednesday when he started talking about the injury list. I said it was one of those days where I went and I watched practice by myself. And that was the decision, because that's when I asked DQ, this was in advance of preseason game 2, and I asked about Jaden, and he kept talking about the great camp he's having, which he is. I said that he is, but I wanted Dan Quinn to share a little bit more about just what has been great. What has he really loved about Jaden's camp? And he did. And I was like, okay, what does that mean for him playing, going down that rabbit hole? And then I remember I instantly said something about Kaylavon and Adafe. Like, because remember, I noticed they weren't there.
Right.
And I was also the one that noticed, like, wait a minute. This is not a vet rest day.
Yeah, I thought it was. And you was like, nah.
Nope.
That ain't what that is.
Nope.
That ain't what that is.
Nope.
And it turned out to be a lot more serious than what we thought. Because them brothers ain't been back since. And we don't even know when they coming back. This is crazy. Like, the list is so long.
Well, I have seen Kaylavon, but
yeah, the list is so long of guys, dealing with something. It's just like, can we get these dudes back before week 1? And what kind of shape are they going to be in? And, you start asking all of those questions, because DQ said that they are going to start ramping them down now in terms of like camp. The height of camp was these last 2 weeks. Now that you cut the roster down to 53, you scale it back a bit, and you start preparing for week 1. So I know a lot was bad today at joint practice.
I mean, it was really, be honest, it shouldn't be anything that everybody didn't know. You knew what the offensive line was going to look like.
Right. And then you didn't have
the caliber of the Ravens defense. So you already knew. And then when Sam Cosmi was out, it was like, all right, it's going to look even worse.
Even worse. Yeah.
So there was that. I mean,
there were some positives, though. I thought Antonio Williams looked like he belonged today.
He did well in the one-on-ones. He had a couple misses here and there, and of course the last throw, that old bomb to they needed that.
They absolutely needed to finish the way that they finished, with Mikey getting the interception and Antonio catching the touchdown. And even the Antonio touchdown, I'm hearing that Jaden could have possibly been sacked on that play.
100%. It was. I mean, he threw that ball up, and I was like, Jaden. It was just for his life at that point. Like, he just threw the football.
I literally heard it was like a YOLO ball that he threw.
100%.
Yeah,
and it worked.
Yeah, but Jaden can do that though. Like he's
under pressure,
like that.
challenge.
Yeah. That's
100%.
I saw your tweet, and we were going through all like your tweets and everybody who was tweeting out stuff. Shout out to the rule breakers out there, Candi. I told you, make sure you don't break the rules.
No,
don't
I
be
wasn't
like
breaking any rules out there.
It was some rule breakers out there. They was the ones that was feeding families today. But you tweeted out, Cam Medrano early on had a strong day, and that's important for someone like himself, because I feel like he's battling with Ale Cajo for that final linebacker spot. I feel like he's going to get it ultimately, but to hear that he had a solid day, that's good for him. Mikey had an interception. Take it for what it's worth. That's the second time in a joint practice Mikey's had an interception. Now, hearing how that interception happened, it was immense pressure on Lamar Jackson. He just threw it up for grabs, and Mikey.
They both kind of ended the same way. I mean, he made some moves throughout the day. They got a few times, meaning the Commanders' defense. But that last play, it was good. Like I was just like, all right, if you go,
Devontae pressed the button. Is what happened.
Yes, because they were getting got quite a bit for sure. I'm not gonna act like they weren't. The interior defensive line, I made a tweet about that. Like hey, Tim Settle wasn't out there, Deron wasn't out there. We know Johnny's out, so that interior, you need that there. You can tell. You do need, healthy bodies there. Of those calibers. I mean, wherever somebody was missing, you could tell.
Shot Tuttle wasn't playing square.
Like, who was that?
Shot Tuttle wasn't playing square.
I mean, he was all right, but you was playing up against these people in Baltimore. Listen,
I was kidding. That was a dead joke.
But I was like, there's levels to this.
Yeah,
there's 1,000% levels to this.
Oh yeah, for sure. We knew this. You know what I didn't hear? So I heard Tyler Loop's statistics. He went 5 for 7 today. Did the Commanders have Drew Stevens kick today?
They did. I think he was fine. I mean, I looked up. I think that's when I was walking back over.
Okay, so you didn't see.
I didn't even really pay attention.
Okay, all right, that's cool. I would like to know what he did today.
I think he made all his kicks though. I mean, I'll say the first 2 went up, and I said, okay, he made those, and I just
kept it pushing.
Kept it pushing.
The thing that surprised you the most today was what? Before I get to specific players, just overall.
It's probably an unfair question for me because I cover both teams.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
yeah,
I don't think
your expectation going in was so your answer could be nothing surprised you.
Yeah, nothing surprised me.
Okay. How bad was Matt Gulbin today?
I mean, he was bad.
Yeah. How bad was Brandon Coleman today?
Brandon was getting worked. Trey Henderson, he might have remembered that Monday Night Football game in Cincinnati.
I heard that too.
He might have remembered that Monday Night Football game in Cincinnati, and he had a day.
People who like to try to build Brandon Coleman up to be something that he's not always like to play the clips from that game when he shut down Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, I heard Trey was giving him a little bit of work today. How was Josh Connolly doing?
he was getting worked, and he has been, you know, throughout camp. You know, he's up and down moments. He and Cosme are good together, but Cosme was not there today.
Yeah, I am nervous about him because I'm gonna be honest. I never loved the pick, and I want to believe that this off-season work with Laramie, he's gotten stronger, he's more comfortable now, etc., etc. But I got to see it before I just give him the benefit of the doubt because it feels like he's still getting beat. It feels like he's still getting bull rushed, and I don't know if he is showing me that he's a first round talent at the tackle position. So I like they need him to work out. He can't be a miss. He cannot be a miss. So like because the line is already compromised, there are certain guys that you need to now anchor this line. He has to be one of them along with Sam Cosme. That right side needs to be ironclad for Jaden. They can't be leaking a leaky faucet on the left side, and we got to help. That's back to 2024 all over again. If we got to help on both sides, all over again.
Yep.
So to hear that he was getting worked again today, it's not like the Ravens have an elite pass rusher because they don't. They got guys that are good on that side of the ball, but they don't have anybody elite that should be like when you told me he was getting worked by Chop Robinson. Okay, I can take that. Chop Robinson is one of the young elite pass rushers in the NFL. The Ravens don't have one of those, so he shouldn't have been getting destroyed today. That frustrates me because
it wasn't. I mean, they got some ballers over there now because they move over, you know what I mean, between Tavius Robinson, you know, Mike Green. There's some others over there that I'm like,
they all right. They ain't Chop Robinson. They all right. They not Aiden Hutchinson. They not supposed to be doing. They not even Trey Hendrickson. They shouldn't be doing that to him. Those guys are all right. We'll see about. I like Mike Green coming out. We ain't heard nothing about Mike Green yet. Like what he do? What he done in the league so far?
I think they're definitely improved over there.
We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, let's mark this conversation on August 26th. They've definitely. It's definitely.
I want to see
different.
Yeah, I know about how they feel about some of these young guys, but the same way they feel about him, we supposed to be feeling about Josh Connolly Jr. He's supposed to be able to match them, and if he can't, that's a problem.
But it's different when everybody's together. One of the things that the Ravens have right now, and Nnamdi Madubuike is out, but Madubuike is out, but everybody else is there. They're healthy. So you just can't, everything needs to be put in context. They're down 3 starters on their offensive line.
Yeah.
It's almost like you cannot, the other team is going to maximize that. Because at the end of the day, Brandon Coleman is a backup. Let's just keep that a buck. Yes, he's your starting left tackle, but he's a backup. Chris Paul has literally been a backup his entire career until last year, right? We the center. What are we doing here? The right guard today. What are we doing? Who
was starting at right guard anyway? Candy, can I ask you that?
It was Tanoa. They were going back and forth there too. Between Tanoa, it was.
He was on the first team.
Yeah, he was out there.
Tanoa Togia.
Mm-hmm. He was out there. Trent Scott. They were all. It was all moving around.
This is what I'm see. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Do y'all see what I'm talking about?
But that's who else was it going to be? Like who else was it going to be?
But this is what I've been talking to the fan base about, Candy. The offensive line depth is terrible.
Oh yeah, no, they don't have. That's why I keep asking.
Terrible.
Like I don't know
what. They need to revamp all of that, Candy. Like they need to scrap all of the backups. Like I don't even think Trent Scott is good.
The Trent Scott was out there,
So he didn't start today? He didn't start?
Trent was out there. He did. He was out there. Yes, he was. He was.
Okay, but so he started at right guard.
They were moving people around.
They were just
sure. Yes.
Okay. Golly.
But it's not.
Oh my God.
You get what I'm saying? Like
it's a lot. Adam Peters needs to fix the offensive line depth, and I know you can't fix everything at once. And I understand we late in the game now. It is what it is, but it don't have to be what it is. We can the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Oh my God, you just told me Tanoa Togiai was playing guard for us today. Like,
Who else was going to
what?
do it? Lake? Shoot. I mean, like, who else was going to do it? Like, what are we doing? Like,
Oh my God.
like who else was
Like
going
with
to
the
do it?
ones though? With the ones?
Yeah. It was back and forth. It was just like everybody's
Oh
going
my
back and
God.
forth.
Oh my God. I know we got injuries. I know.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my God. This is so bad, y'all. Oh my God.
It's
He has to
definitely
do something.
Well, and I also would like to say, I mean, and I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is doing something. He just hasn't happened yet.
My God. No, he's gonna do something. I think
100%.
in Adam Peters doing something. Now, what that something is and how effective, like, this is why I always tell people, like, I love the fact that DQ just basically told Mitch Tischler today, and I knew that was the answer, but he asked him, is there, because a lot of fans were saying, you think that they brought in DJ Humphries to be the left tackle and move Coleman back to left guard? I said, no. DJ Humphries is not a savior, y'all. He's not a savior. Man has not started since 2023. He was a first-round pick in 2015. The man has been in the league over a decade. He's got over 100 starts under his belt. He is not an elite starter at this point of his career. He is here for depth purposes.
Yeah.
Because what we don't want is Andrew Wiley having to play left tackle, which would have happened if something happened to Brandon Coleman. Right.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. You can't be surprised. This is an opportunity to temper everybody's expectations.
Yes,
I think I told everybody a long time ago. When's the last time you looked at the roster?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be like, if something were to happen, worst case scenario, who are the backups?
Yep. That's where we at right now.
And I would also like to say, I came on here after Laramie Tunsil got hurt. And I said, the O-line looks like an offensive line that just lost their best player.
That's accurate. I remember that conversation. I remember you saying that. I remember.
And it has gone, and it, I mean.
It's gone from bad to worse.
Because, well, not only because of that, because the caliber of the team you were playing.
Right. The strength of schedule has increased every week.
The strength of, exactly right. And that's why I said, I think I saw what they did here. They did it so you could see what you had. Now, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know why you didn't already know what you had.
That's my point.
That
was my
problem. I know, then
hey, that was my point. It's like, y'all know Julian Good-Jones' ass. Y'all know that. You know, he's not a starting center. He's not a backup center. To your point, he's a backup's backup, which means he's not on the roster. Julian Good-Jones ain't never made this roster, Candy. He never made the roster. The 2 years they've been here before this year, he ain't make the roster. He didn't make it when Ron Rivera and them was here. He ain't never made the roster. He just been around. So all of a sudden, we supposed to believe all of a sudden now he's just morphed into a competent center that is capable of starting if something happens to our starter.
Yeah, that's the only challenge. That's the only challenge I'm having here is they look like an offensive line that lost their best player because they did. They never had an actual starting center. And then in terms of today, Sam Cosmi was out. So what do you all think? You know what I mean? It looks like today. What do you think against a relatively healthy Ravens defensive line and overall defense? It's going to look bad. And that's what it looked like. And everybody knew that, and including them, maybe more so than us. So it's a challenge to, I mean, yes, do I believe something will get done? 100%. I do. I wholeheartedly do. But I think the challenge is, why has it
take this long? Right.
And because I know that film is watched and looked at through mandatory minicamp. They have film. They do film all the time. They out there. And so I don't, unless they really believed that it was going to work.
But you know what
did.
So this is what they do. They convince themselves we want to see when the pads come on. because you know, with the offensive line, that's always the messaging. Oh well, you know, this period is really for the skill guys. We're throwing the ball. You really can't see. We need to see what happens when the pads come on. And that's what they told. I didn't need to see. You didn't need to see.
No,
We didn't need to
you
see the
didn't need to
pads
see
come
any
on to
of
know
it.
that Julian Good-Jones wasn't going to be the
Never
answer at
needed to
center.
see that.
Never needed to see that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt in certain regards. You couldn't plan for Laramie Tunsil getting hurt. This is a guy that barely has been hurt throughout his
And
entire
Laramie was there. He was present today. You know, he's been with his team. He's been
sent them the
there.
food truck the other day.
And,
He's such a great teammate.
And so, you know, he was there. And it was like, this guy loves football. They all love football. So, you know, nobody wants to be on the sideline ever. Yeah. But you can tell he just and maybe he's somebody who could help, who can encourage. You know, I tweeted about Brandon Coleman talking to the media after practice and was, you know, kind of, you know, direct. And I would say passionate even about him believing that they can do better. Yeah, you know, that they can do better. And I believe they will can do better. You know,
I know he can do better too.
Yeah, I think we've seen it. We've seen it. And he was kind of like his little things. But I mean, I tell people all the time, but it's the little things
that add up.
That I mean, hey, I mean, I hate to compare these things to military time, but like if you are in the military, it only takes missing a small detail to be dead. Like, I mean, really.
Right.
So these small details that they are being open and honest and saying, we have to get this right. We have to get this right. And that was something that I heard repeatedly from Brandon Coleman. And I'm like, he was amped up because it didn't go well.
Yeah.
And so, but you were in a different level of you know, competition. And I'm not sure what you thought you were gonna watch. I don't, and it's hard to say what was I surprised. Like, I wasn't surprised.
That was a scrum. That wasn't something that was like a legitimate.
It was a scrum.
Okay.
Yeah, the only person who was legitimately at the podium was Jaden.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it.
Josh Connolly had a scrum as well. Josh Connolly.
Brandon
Coleman,
like?
Jeremy Reeves, Mikey Samerstill, Sonny, from who I saw.
Yeah. Which ones did you participate in? Any of them?
Brandon's. I went to Brandon's. I went to Brandon's, and I went to Jaden's as well. Yeah. But those were the only two.
How did Jeremy Reeves look? Did you get a look at? Because I know you probably was focused a lot on the offense, but you say you was running back and forth.
Yeah, but when I was over there, it was okay. Like, I was not wowed. Yeah. Yes, they were able to get pressure on Lamar. Here's the interesting thing that I will say. You know, yesterday when the Ravens coordinators talked to the media, you know, Declan Doyle made it a point to say that he knows that the Commanders' defense runs something similar. It's Minnesota.
Of course they do. Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
Well, that secret's now out, everybody.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Here's the use your clues.
Yeah.
Go on ahead and go and look at the schedule. I mean, you know, they play Minnesota, right? But go and look at the schedule and see the opponents that they play that would be familiar with Minnesota's defensive system.
Yeah. The only thing that
use your clues moment.
Yeah. The only thing about that is people know what Flores does. It's just hard to stop. Just like, you know, what Shanahan does, it's hard to stop. You know what McVay does, it's hard to stop. If you got a formula that works, and we don't know if Durante's works or not, because he's got a mashup supposedly of multiple, you know, people that he's been around. But yeah, I mean, it's not a secret that he's going to blitz. It's not a secret that we're going to play a lot of zone behind that. And so we're going to see if they can execute. That's going to be the biggest thing. Can they execute, you know, what it is they're doing? So I want to ask you a couple questions. I want to start with a roster question. And, because we won't talk again before the 53-man rosters are crystallized.
No.
So I want to ask you about what you think is going to happen roster-wise at a few positions. I want to start with offensive line. Do you think there's a world we live in where they kind of clean house with a lot of the backups and bring in some new guys, or do you think they're gonna stand firm with a lot of these dudes and maybe make one, maybe two moves max on the offensive line? Because I personally, do you think Julian Good-Jones and Matt Goldman, Trent Scott, and guys like that? Because those are the three guys that, Wiley's absolutely making the team. So you look at the five guys that are right now starters, and then Andrew Wiley's absolutely making the team. That's 6 offensive linemen. John Keim did his 53-man roster a few days ago. He had 8 offensive linemen. I think there's no way they're keeping 8. The number's always been 9. But because of he was just doing it based off of the talent here, you could make a case that they don't have 7 offensive linemen worth keeping. So I got why he stopped at 8. Do you think that they have 7 or 8 guys that they're going to keep and then just add another lineman? Or do you think they're going to stand firm with their guys and just kind of ride it out?
I mean, I don't see it. I hate to say it depends, but it depends on how bad Nick's injury is. I mean, he's out again this week.
Yeah.
If that is the case, right? Like, and you don't get another center, which I believe they will, but if you don't, then you have to keep Julian and Matt. I mean, you're keeping Matt, but you would have to keep Julian too. Like,
I just
want to do it.
I don't see what purpose it serves if you know he can't do it. You might as well bring somebody else in here. If they can't do it, at least you tried something.
I mean, if they don't bring somebody else in here, sure.
Yeah.
But
they have to at this point. You have, just like you went and got DJ Humphries. There are veteran players out there, even if you don't like some of the young guys.
You don't find it interesting that they haven't brought in another center. Nobody finds that interesting.
Yeah, like so what they've done like stupid little in between the margin moves like Trey Hill and Daniel Brunskill. Like, these aren't guys that you're keeping on the roster. Like, stop playing with the position and just go get an actual veteran that you can bring in and that can help this team. Like, that's been the thing that's been so frustrating. They've brought in a bunch of camp bodies. Daniel Brunskill and Trey Hill. Like, these are warm bodies. These aren't guys that are making this football team. Why are we wasting time with guys that are just coming in to help you get through camp?
It's all I'm saying is they sure are making moves everywhere but center.
Everywhere. They've patched up every hole on this roster. The one question we might have still is safety, but they're gonna rock with their safeties. So it is what it is at this point. They don't feel like there's an issue at safety, so they're gonna rock with it. But we thought there was a minor issue at receiver. Fixed.
I mean, unless they're waiting and trying to do something major, like there's a trade, there's something coming.
You suggested that to me.
And remember, I suggested that to you because I'm like,
I wasn't going to share it unless you
made a move everywhere else. As soon as somebody else gets hurt, they just bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
So why didn't you do that with Nick?
You said that you don't think they want to, but they may have to give up some draft capital.
100%. Now, what I've also said was they might have to give up some draft capital and it might be frowned upon, is what I've said. And so I've put that out there to be like, hey, look, because let's use as soon as somebody gets hurt, they bring in somebody else at that position. And even if it's just to be a camp body. Mm-hmm. But they typically say this isn't a camp body. This is somebody for depth. That's what they say. So you haven't done this here, which the other option is you are trying to work through a trade. We know other teams are trading right now. We know people are trading. The trades are still on. We also know, which I've said before, so far in the Adam Peters, Dan Quinn era, they have done a trade every preseason.
That's right.
They've even done a trade on roster cut day. Mm-hmm. John Ridgeway. They did that 2024.
Yep.
Right? So they did 2 trades in their first preseason together.
That's right. Jahan Dotson and John Ridgeway.
Yeah. Absolutely correct. So that's why I'm like, okay, it's mighty interesting. They're not moving anywhere else. I mean, hey, for what it's worth, did you need to bring in 2 more safeties just because you released Will Harris and Malik Spencer? No, you really didn't. But since you did, now I know that you are making moves where even a body is gone. Or you've released players, brought in other players. Okay, you haven't done this at center. So the only other thing that I'm going to believe that you're doing is that you are preparing for a trade. Again, brace yourselves, because if this happens, you might not like the draft capital.
As long as it's I've said this because usually when it's a trade this late in camp, it revolves around a late round pick, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. We've seen a lot of the moves made with, like, if they give up, now to your point, if they give up a 4th or anything higher than that, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You might not like it. You might not like
that. So you might be trying to prep me. I just feel like a lot of times when you see, like, it was just a trade the other day with Josh Azudu. I think it was like 7th round pick. Usually it's 2 players, a guy you disappointed in, or a guy that ain't gonna make your roster for a guy that ain't gonna make my roster, and then I'll throw in this 7th round pick because somebody had suggested, hey, try and trade Van Jefferson to the Raiders for Powers Johnson, right? Like, because they got Tyler Linderbaum now. They don't need him at center anymore. Maybe the Raiders would be interested because they need receivers. The Raiders don't have any receivers for real. So maybe you could interest them in some Van Jefferson. They probably don't want Van Jefferson, but Adam Peters just did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Chris Johnson, and he challenged 3 guys. And one of the guys he challenged was someone he called a very dear friend of his, Raiders general manager John Spytek. Pick up the phone, call your buddy, and see if you can't get Jackson Powers Johnson here to Washington. We need a center, like legitimately need a center. So I don't know. You might be right, Candi. There could be a trade on the horizon. Something's getting done. I know this for a fact.
100%. Something's getting done. But you just might not like what the draft capital is.
7 or 6 receivers.
There could be a case for 7 if you say that Jalen Lane is your kick returner or punt returner.
Well, we know he's a punt returner.
Right. So you don't count him in your wide receiver numbers.
So so remove him from the equation. How many receivers they keeping?
6. And then it will be 7.
7 with him. So it's 7 receivers for you. Okay. That's the number for me too. So we on the same page.
Potentially.
Tight ends, 3 or 4?
4. They've typically taken 4.
Running back, 3 or 4?
They've typically taken 4.
Who's the 4th running back?
Well, now they got people hurt, and Robert Henry fumbled again today.
He fumbled again today.
So, Jerome Ford is gone. He was, put on IR through injury settlement. Jeremy McNichols is still hurt. Bill is injured. And so, but he can maybe come back by week 1. So you really only have like Bill and Katron, right? Yeah, because or Robert Henry and Rashad. I keep forgetting about Rashad, to be honest with you. Rashad. So that's 3, but Robert
is there
Henry
really a 4th worth keeping right now?
Not now.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna trim off fat, if you're gonna trim off some fat, I think it's at running back right now. That's why
they've kept 4, but
they've kept 4 in the past, but it just don't feel like it's a necessity this year. Had Jeremy McNichols been healthy, that's a no-brainer.
And they could still keep him.
Yes, absolutely. They absolutely could. That's absolutely.
It actually, yeah.
All right.
It's
Johnny Newton.
Can we go back to the tight ends real quick?
Sure, absolutely, please.
Didn't love everything I saw from Chick today. Didn't love it.
In what way?
You gotta take a hit. And keep it rolling. The physicality. The blocking tight end experiment should be over for him, right? Yeah. We saw that it doesn't work. We saw that. Yeah. I already knew it didn't work. We saw it didn't work Saturday.
In the short game. Yeah.
Didn't work today, and you got to be able to take a hit. Like they're gonna hit you.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to muscle that up and take that hit. The physicality, I was kind of like,
all right. I'm picking up what you're putting down there.
You're picking up what I'm putting down. Didn't enjoy that.
Okay.
Because see, that's the other thing about when you get into pads and you start talking, to other, talking to other teams, watching other teams. They're more physical, right? So you don't have to take a hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't flinch.
Yeah.
Seeing a little too. Yeah.
Look a little fidgety out there.
Hey,
yeah.
These different safeties over here. These not your safeties. These are people safeties. These Baltimore. These are the Baltimore Zoo safeties. Okay.
Yeah.
You got it coming.
That's
Real
facts.
quick.
That's facts. We got Jeremy Reeves out there. Ooh, yeah. It's a lot different now. That safety ain't 2-3 yards behind the play. That he's right there ready to hit you upon you touching.
Ow, like they're there.
Bang bang. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay. I hear you loud and clear.
I like them a lot, but they they come in. Those defensive backs over there.
I'll be keeping an eye out for that now. I'm gonna be watching him like a hawk now with that, because I did not like. I mean, in his defense,
Colson be ready to. It's a little different ball game when it comes to him, but it's also a dude that plays special teams. So people who play special teams, they about that life.
They're about that life. Facts.
They are about that life.
Yeah.
So doesn't bother him any.
Yeah.
But I think that was a thing that maybe was even in his report, maybe, or some of the, pros and cons and all that. That physicality, I was like, they coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Breathe it down your neck. Come on. So that's
I'm adding that to the mental Rolodex now. Okay. All right. That's good to know. That's some good intel right there.
You should. Like I said, Robert Henry fumbled again. So question to the running back, that's something. And there was a couple drops. The plays, I tweeted this, the plays that did work.
Yeah. I had Stephon Diggs had a drop today, which is uncharacteristic of him.
Antonio did.
Yeah.
Terry missed one. Terry had an explosive one, but he also missed one.
Yeah.
Chig missed one. I mean, it was opportunities there, and they didn't maximize on it.
Yeah. It just sounded like it was a bad day, just because Terry don't drop the ball very often. Like Stephon Diggs don't drop the ball very often. Like, it just sounded like it was.
Yeah, they were able to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think.
So it just sounded like it was a bad day though.
The competition was different.
Yeah. Can't keep going back to the competition.
I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be nice. Like, the competition was different. Yeah, wait. I'm trying to get you. Did you need a pep talk from me?
Oh man.
Man. Warn you.
That's funny.
Like, hold on. It's not my people over here. No, it's not.
Oh man.
It's different. It's different. So it's very interesting, and they still got pressure on Lamar Jackson again. It wasn't like the day wasn't a bust, but to even what Revo said was they started out slow. That's why I mentioned Kane Madrano. I was like, okay, Kane did some stuff early on, right? But they did as a unit move slower, and it's like, come on.
And I think you saying that about, because that's what I heard from people that were there. That while the Ravens made some plays, they weren't like dynamic. They didn't kill the defense. The defense held their own. Yeah, they held their own, and they were down quite a bit of players, obviously, just like the offense was. So they had every excuse to go out there and stink up the joint, just like the offense did, but they didn't. And I think that's a testament to Durante Jones, because I feel like he can scheme it up. And to your point too, the defense is usually ahead of the offense as well. Always keep that in mind. So that's always something to keep in mind when you have these kind of conversations. But I've always said this: Durante Jones he comes from a cloth that I'm gonna scheme it up no matter who's out there. I'm gonna find a way to manufacture. One of the things we've struggled with here in Washington for far too long is we haven't had coordinators that can scheme up pressure. We had to have guys that won, and we haven't had guys that could win. We had Chase Young and Montez Sweat in that rookie season of Chase Young in 2020, and then both of them acted as if they forgot how to rush the passer after that, and they got traded. The year Montez got traded, I think he had about 5 or 6 sacks before he got traded, but it never was like, oh, Montez is dominating. It would be, a coverage sack here, or a sack where somebody else got pressure and he fell into a sack. We ain't had guys that just won, right? if you don't have a guy, an elite rusher, you need to be able to scheme it up. And Durante can scheme it up. And it's so good to hear you say, hey, look, the defense, they started slow. And yeah, you know, Wester had a 60-yard touchdown, 70-yard touchdown where he ran away from everybody. But they held their own. They got a little bit of pressure on Lamar. They forced him into an interception. You know, they did. So yeah, they gave him some hits in the run game. That's to be expected. Half, your 3/4 of your defensive line ain't out there. That's to be expected. But they held their own. So that's because honestly, Candi, to start this season, that's probably where we're gonna have to hang our hat. That's what's gonna keep us in games and give us a chance to this offense figure it out. Is the defense gonna have to keep us in football games?
I mean, you saw a little bit of that on Saturday.
Yes. We didn't score an offensive touchdown in the game.
That's why I'm saying this. It's yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're using your clues. Like it's, and I mean, to be fair, Durante, I mean, I know people don't, you know, do too much in the preseason,
right. But
when I posted the questions I had to Amik Robertson after the game, and he said it, Durante made a call.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, if anybody needed to, was you should get off the field. They deserved to get off the field.
Yeah.
They deserved that. Oh, get it.
Yeah.
And go.
Yeah. I said he's itching to press the button, Candi.
Oh, like, he did.
You
and
know,
he did.
Because he didn't press it against Miami. And the defense wasn't good. Like, I know Miami scored just 7 points. The defense wasn't good in that game. Let's be honest. Like, the Dolphins dropped about 7 passes. They had so many opportunities. And they didn't really generate any pressure on the quarterback. I mean, I shouldn't say that. There were a couple of plays where Byron Coward collapsed the pocket that forced interceptions. He had 2 plays where he forced interceptions. But outside of that, they didn't have any sacks. They had 1 combined sack on a play where the quarterback got back to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
I could tell he was like, oh, he was itching to press the button, but you can't show it in the preseason, right? He said, I'm pressing the button. First play. Second play of the game, I'm pressing the button. He was dying to press that button. And after he pressed it, he put it back in his back pocket. I ain't gonna press it no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
He is a guy that I feel so confident in. Like, no matter who's out there, we're gonna find a way to generate some pressure. So that was good to hear today. Because no Adafe again. No, like, legitimately, we could have. And I don't think this is going to be the case, but legitimately, week 1, your starting edge rushers against the Philadelphia Eagles could be Joshua Josephs and Javonte Jean-Baptiste.
I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the reality. Are there things that went well today? Yes. But are there things that didn't go well that can hinder your season? Yes. Absolutely. And that's the difference in what needs to be shared. I'm going to tell you the real so that you are not surprised if things do not change. Everybody knows there needs to be a new center. There needs to be a center, a healthy, a good one. Yeah. It matters. Everybody saw that Saturday. It's a known fact. Yeah. You know,
Brandon Comey got to play better too. Brandon Comey got to play better.
Jaden is having a tremendous camp. The only reason why Jaden didn't get leveled today, as many times as he could have gotten leveled, is because you can't do that.
Can't hit him.
Right? So cool. But that's just, I believe that Adam Peters and company are working on something, you all. They're not just going to let this happen. They're just not. I just they're not. Too many of the media talking about it. Too many, you know. Now, positively, the defense they held their own with as many people out as have been. They held their own. If anything, you know, and normally it's the reverse, right? Always talking about, you know, like the defense isn't good or what have you. And it wasn't that way today. You saw where the issues were, but they still held their own.
Yeah. That makes me feel that much better about Durante Jones and what he's capable of, because I'm high on him. I'm very high on him. And not to say that I'm not, because so I'm gonna put a pin in this. Don't let me forget, Candi. Make sure that I come back and pull the pin out of what I want to talk about. And I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget myself, because I want to continue to go through the roster with you before we get to this. And There we go. I got it written down. So now we talked about the offense and kind of getting into the brain of Candi Waller. Defensively, we know that they're going to have to make some decisions. We're going to find out the severity because Dan Quinn doesn't have to share this with us, and he hasn't. I think he already knows, but he's not going to share it with us, and he doesn't have to. But they got to make a decision on both Johnny Newton and Laremy Tunsil, two guys that could potentially come back, but may not come back this season. If those guys are coming back this year, they have to make the roster first before you place them on IR, right? If they're not coming back, you place them on IR, their season's done before the 53-man roster cuts. So he's going to basically tell us how they feel about those guys and the prospects of them coming back by how they operate. Dorrance can't make the 53-man roster because he's suspended, which means Javonte John Baptiste is going to make the initial 53-man roster. Then when Dorrance's suspension is lifted, he'll be activated and Javonte will probably be released. That's my guess. We'll see what happens. But somebody's got to take Johnny Newton's spot at defensive tackle. Because I only felt like there were going to be 4 defensive tackles make the football team. I could be wrong and it could be 5, but I felt like it was going to be 4. 4 defensive tackles, 6 edge rushers. Or you put them wherever you want. I consider Charles Omenihu an edge rusher, but he's the defensive lineman. You put him wherever you want to put him, right? Bottom line is, I had it before the Johnny injury. Johnny, Duran, Kinlaw, Settle. Those are your 4 defensive tackles. Who's taking Johnny's spot out of the defensive tackles?
And you put Charles Omenihu as an outside linebacker?
So he could be in that group if you want to put him in that group. That's fine. I see him as an end. Like when they came out in the game against Detroit, he played defensive end, right? But in their defense, it's outside linebacker because they play a 3-4 basically.
Yep.
So you can put him wherever you want. If you want to put him on the defensive line, you can throw him in there and say he's a defensive, because I look at it defensive tackle. But if you want to say defensive line, that's fine. Omenihu would be in there as well. That would be 5. You go 5 edge rushers, 5 defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Who's taking Johnny's spot?
I mean, if you move Charles so that he can take, well, Charles was making a roster.
He was making a roster anyway. So yeah. So what I'm asking you is,
what you asking me?
So is it Byron Coward? Is it Shy Tuttle? Or
it would be Shy over Byron.
Okay, that's it. That's all I want. That's what I think.
Yes, it would be Shy over Byron. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Got you. That's how I see it too. It's Shy Tuttle because he came out and he started at nose in the game against Detroit. So go to linebacker. I think that's one of the probably the most interesting conversations defensively, is because there was a brief conversation. Also, while we on the subject matter, I got a round of applause for Candi. Should be a multiple round of applauses because you're always right. It seems like your hit rate. I don't know. Like your hit rate wasn't this like legit last year. Like your hit rate is almost 100% this year, Candi.
Well, that's just because I wasn't telling anybody anything. Because people don't like negativity. So when you come and tell the truth, I'm not going to give you no roses and rainbows. Because here's the thing. Then you're going to come back and say she didn't tell us. I'm going to tell you.
Candi, I got the receipt for this one. On August the 3rd, Candi said, and I remember having her on the program maybe a day or two later. She said, "Hey, Will Harris ain't out there a lot. And I ain't just talking first team reps. I'm just talking about period in general. He healthy, y'all. He just won't out there." I said, oh. And I remember from that point forward, I was pushing the narrative. Hey, Will Harris ain't making his team. Will Harris ain't making his team. And I started pushing that narrative. And then I said, I'm a big proponent and believer in when you're playing in the preseason. When Dan Quinn has shown his MO as to like how he cycles his players in and out of these preseason games.
Yep.
And I said, if you're still in the game in the third quarter, when those third and fourth string guys are in there that are not making the football team, or guys that are bubble guys. If TJ Mag is in the game and you still playing, you in trouble.
You're in trouble.
And Will Harris was out there in the Dolphins game with the likes of TJ Mag and DJ Johnson and guys like that. I said, oh, you the weakest link. Goodbye. I did not know they was going to snatch the number 3 off his back and give it to Stephon Diggs while he was still here. But once they did that, we knew it was over. So there's no safety conversation now. We know the 5 safeties that are making the roster. Are you getting, while we there, before we get to the linebacker position, are you surprised they cut Malik Spencer?
I was surprised by that. Now, Saturday, he didn't have a good game Saturday. Right. But I was surprised by that. I will say I was surprised by that, for sure. Surprised.
I wonder if he wasn't good on special teams.
No.
He wasn't? Okay. That to me, that's the only way you cut a guy like that. Because I felt like there was some talent there, but like we knew he was making
for sure.
But to just outright cut him that way, I said, and not even let him get through the last preseason game, and then bring in 2 warm bodies to finish out the last preseason game is crazy to me.
Yeah, that was about it. And I mean, it could have been, I think he did get hurt, but
that might have been it too.
But Will was not hurt.
Yeah, no, we know he just they weren't pleased. They weren't pleased with him. Ale versus Kane. Do you have, first, let me ask you this before I put any words in your mouth. Do you have both of them making the roster?
I think you got to add Jordan McGee in there. I'm gonna keep saying that because
you've been saying that.
And he's injured. He was out there today, but of course he's working through his injury. He should be back, pending. But you also have to remember one thing that I've just paid attention to. Yes, Ale and Kane have played a lot. Ale is typically the signal caller when he is in there. The green dot. So, and they love him on special teams. So that will be a hard decision to make. I don't know. I mean, I think based on reps and performance, it would appear Jordan McGee is the odd man out on that one. But I also don't know. I mean, are they going to keep all of them? I mean, right? Because that's like 6 linebackers.
Yeah. No,
so
I think they keep
right. So they're not going to keep all of them. So that's Frankie, Sonny, Leo, Ale, Kane, and Jordan. Somebody's the odd person out.
Yeah, I think it's Kane. I think it's Ale Cajo. I think it's Ale Cajo. I think they value Jordan's athleticism, even though like he's been hurt this summer. I think they value his, and DQ talked about him the other day, how they value him on special teams now. He's got to step up on special teams, and they feel like he's done that. I think Jordan is going to be on the roster. I think the conversation is between Kane but we'll see. You might be right again. You've been right, like I said.
Currently, he's the only one that doesn't do signal calling, Jordan.
Yeah.
But it could be any one of those 3. Yeah. But in terms of if we're using it's just who knows how to signal call. All of them except for Jordan. Jordan has still been injured. Let's see what happens there. Yes, his athleticism between the 3, it will be Jordan. So it looks like he might be the odd person out still, but I also don't know. They were using Kane a lot more in packages early on in camp. So we'll see. Especially like when he first got back. When we first came, he was on PUP. Then he was off, so. Yeah. Interesting.
Corners, I know John Keim had 4 corners making his 53-man roster, which is crazy. There's no way they're keeping 4 corners.
Which 4 he have?
He had everybody except Fabian.
Who is everybody?
So Kenny, the 5 corners. There's only 5 corners that they possibly could keep. So it's Amik, it's Mikey.
No one know who he had.
So he had Amik, Mikey, Trey, and Rasul Douglas.
Rasul, 4.
He left Fabian off.
That's right.
So you don't see Fabian making the roster?
No.
I find it hard to believe they're going to go into
Trey is injured, if they need somebody, I would almost say they would go Antonio Hamilton over Fabian because Antonio Hamilton has.
I would too. I wouldn't even be mad at that. He's been hooping this summer. He's been playing ball this summer. I wouldn't be mad at that if they said we think Antonio Hamilton is better than Fabian Moreau. But
Now,
John
I
didn't have
posted
neither one
about
of them
that.
on the roster.
Now, here's what I posted. I posted this on Saturday, and I was like, quietly, Darius Rush is making a case.
He playing
because
some
of his
hella
special
teams
teams play and in one-on-ones. I went ahead and posted it.
Yeah.
Durante put him on Jacoby Lane.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this too. Did you see Dan Quinn's mic'd up by any chance?
From preseason game 1?
Yes.
He was very excited about Darius. I was
twice.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
singled
that
out
special
Darius
teams
Rush
play.
on special teams twice.
100%. So that's why I'm like, wait a minute, let's back up here. On the cornerback conversation, I would say Antonio Hamilton, right, because of the value at cornerback. But I was like, wait. Recenter. I tweeted about Darius Rush on Saturday. Like, look, quiet as kept. He's making a case. If you go 5, right? If you go 5, because the
I expect him to go 5. The number in the defensive backfield is usually 10. 5 safeties, 5 corners.
Right. And they don't have in the other 4, like, well, one would be injured, but the other ones, they don't play special teams.
All right.
So Darius is making a case for himself. For certain.
That last guy has to play special teams, which kind of makes it feel like Fabian Moreau necessarily can't be here because that last guy better play special teams. And at this point, you got 2 veterans that pretty much don't in Rasul and Fabian. If you were to keep Fabian, it just felt like because he had experience in Durante's scheme from Minnesota, it just and you know how sometimes one of the things that's interesting when you watch some of these preseason games is dudes come out early as veterans and you just assume they're making a roster. It don't always be the case because Fabian came out, pretty much when Rasul came out and they would put all the young boys in at corner, the Carlin Vigors and the Darius Rushes and the Fred Davises and all those boys and Antonio Hamilton would come in and they would be done for the day. And so you're thinking, okay, he cool, but John Keim didn't have him on his roster and you basically like, yeah, no, he's not making the roster either. So
I would be surprised.
I'm gonna rock with you on that.
Over the other 2 that I just named, I wouldn't put him over Antonio or Darius Rush. Yeah, but again, it's the special teams value. Yeah. And I've specifically made a point to say something about Darius, especially after Saturday.
Yeah, I'm a definitely say if you're gonna go with one of them, I think Antonio Hamilton is the better actual corner, right? Like you could put him on the field. He was here last year. And so I know he could play special teams. He had a hell of a hit in the first preseason game against the Dolphins.
Yeah, you can put him on. He had a PI, but
and that PI, and if you go back and watch that, Candy, that was offensive PI. That wasn't that defender.
They called it on him, and according to Dan Quinn, that doesn't bother him as much as the pre-snap penalties. So
of course, yeah. I mean, nobody wants to give up a 40-yard penalty down the field either.
No,
that should not have been on him. That was a bad call. I like the way he's played this summer. So okay,
that's gonna be a hard one with the gauge, but that would be my answer.
Okay, I'm gonna side with you on that because I just in my mind I always had Fabian Moreau making it, but you know what? I'm rocking with Candy on this. I'm gonna take him off my 53, and I'm gonna look at them 2 guys, Darius Rush and Antonio Hamilton. I'm leaning towards Antonio Hamilton. And I think you could get Darius Rush onto the practice squad because ain't nobody gonna fight you for him. But I think I'm gonna move on from Fabian Moreau because of what you just said. I want to talk about the offense again. I want to go back to the offense. Joint practice today was crazy, and I want to get your take on this. So in the preseason, and I'm not looking to make any excuses for them. It was bad today. And we knew it was going to be bad today. And then Cosme not being able to go today because he was sick exacerbated the problem, made it even worse. That said, Cosme played on Saturday, and it was bad then too, right? So, I don't want to make any excuses for them. They don't game plan for preseason games. You just call in plays. Once you get into the season, and you start scheming, right? So I'm talking David Blau. I'm talking about scheming for your opponent, but also you self-scout when you go into a game and when you're putting together a game plan, and you start taking inventory of your weaknesses, things that you do well, things that you don't do well. You try to minimize your weaknesses, maximize your strengths. Let's say that this offensive line is what it is. Because I, in my mind, I don't see them changing the starting group. What we're talking about, the movement that's going to take place that we see happening, there are moves within the margins to change the depth of the offensive line, not to bring in starters. At least that's how I see it. Now, if they trade for somebody, it's a different story. They trade for someone, that's you've given up a draft pick. That's to have somebody come in and probably try to start at center, right? But like bringing in a DJ Humphries, that's to upgrade the backup tackle position, right? Which is necessary. You couldn't have Andrew Wiley coming in at left tackle. That you're asking for trouble, right? I don't even like him at right tackle, if we being honest, but another conversation for another day. So to me, the offensive line is what it is. Coleman's your left tackle. Chris Paul's your left guard. Nick Allegretti is your starting center once he gets healthy. Sam Cosmi's your right guard, and Josh Conley Jr. is your right tackle. That's the offensive line. That's not going to change. Now, we just need them to get better. But it is what it is. When you start scheming and you start game planning, the quick game comes into play, trying to get the ball out of Jaden's hands quickly. You start chipping to help guys. Because I think in these situations, DQ always talks about we're not trying to make it easy on them. Right? We want to see if they're going to struggle in this one-on-one matchup. We want to see how they're going to handle these situations. We make it stressful intentionally to see how they perform in these situations. In the game, you're not trying to make it stressful for them, right? You're trying to minimize the stress. So if we know you struggle in one-on-one situations, we're going to help you. We're going to chip. We're going to double team, right? We're going to run quick game, get the ball out of Jaden's hands, not so he's not holding on to it as long. Do you see scheming being able to circumvent some of the issues that we've seen, or is this like a problem that you just can't foresee being fixed unless they make changes?
I think it's, I mean, I hate to give this answer, but I think it's both. Like, it's like, who do you want to be when you grow up? If you want to be a playoff team, you need to do something. You can scheme it up all day.
Yeah.
The talent is not the talent level which is needed to get where you were even in 2024 is not where it should be. If we're talking specifically the offensive line, there have been changes everywhere else. Again, at the top of this, at the very, very top of this show, I said I would hate for this season to be a bust because the offensive line is the Achilles heel because you didn't do anything about it. You don't have the talent there. I know he said that he does. They don't.
They don't.
Sure, you could scheme it. Sure, you could. You know, that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? But like, get the talent there. Get the talent there. You need a starter. You need a healthy starting center to get you where you want to go long term. Period. Because everybody's going to have film on you after a while, so you can scheme all day. But if you can't protect, and if you can't beat your one-on-one matchup, it's like, how you going to scheme for somebody that's just better than you over the line? They just beat you. And everybody knows you got to win your matchups at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So, I mean, you can scheme it all day, but if the talent isn't there, I'm just not
so
buying
much you could
it.
do. Yeah, it's only
so much as you could do, depending on how far you want to go. That's where I'm at. Like, if you like, how do you see yourself? Like, it's like, who do you want to be when you grow up? Where do you see? You know what I mean? Where you want to go?
Here's what I don't want to happen, because you said something that triggered me earlier in the show. You said that Jaden's having a great camp.
He is.
And what you don't want him to do is to start having like happy feet because he doesn't think he's going to be protected. And today was one of those days where I know, and I haven't watched his press conference yet, just to kind of hear mentally where he is, just to kind of see how he felt after the day. Because today was rough. It was rough. Like, just Ravens reporters And these weren't like I commend the Ravens reporters because I've seen joint practices where you can tell it's overly biased. Like
Right.
they're not being objective. The Ravens reporters was like, wait, when we made a good play, they said it was a good play. But they was like, this offensive line is bad.
Yep.
It was bad. And it was like, poor Jaden basically is what they were saying. Like,
Yes.
he out here trying to do everything he can, but this ain't working.
100%.
And then when he did make a play, they dropped the ball.
Yes.
So I don't want him to start thinking, I got to do everything myself. That's what the whole point of this offseason was supposed to be.
That's what it was about.
Have to be Superman anymore.
And so if anybody is like, my tone is negative or anything like that, hey, listen, I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I've been watching. And they got a problem. I do believe that they are going to fix it. I would actually be shocked if they did not.
Mm-hmm.
That is why I'm also bracing everybody for they might fix it.
But it might cost you.
But it might cost you.
And you know what?
It might cost you to fix it at this point in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We could go all the way back. Here's the reality. I think we should all be able to agree you released Tyler Biadasz too soon.
Yeah.
Too
You did.
soon.
But it's almost like if you don't quit your job until you got another one.
Get another one. Get another one, right? And I mean what I'm saying, because you got better. You did get better. They got better. Mm-hmm. They did. They did.
Better,
they did the right thing on defense. They've gotten all of that, right? For it all to go down on a problem that you created. That's my challenge here. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I can sing you all the bells and whistles. Some of the one-on-ones was real cute. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, like the one-on-ones, it was great. You know, Stephon Diggs had great one-on-ones. Antonio Williams, yeah, the whole thing with the Kyle Hamilton. And guess what? In team drills, in a series, Kyle Hamilton singly dismantled the offensive scheme all by himself.
Yeah.
Who cares about these one-on-ones when the same man? That's when I'm like, I'm not impressed. Yeah. But I already knew I wasn't going to be impressed because I know the people over there. I know the personnel over there, right? So the one-on-ones they're nice. I post them too. They're cute. They get, you know what I mean? They get
engagement.
100%. And for somebody else who said that I'm fear-mongering, you know, I'll be looking at the chat and I'll be like, nah, Louie told me to come on here and tell y'all the truth. And I haven't been wrong yet.
She hasn't.
And like I said, in case you missed it, they should make a change. There's no way that the whole media, everybody in the world now is talking about how bad this offensive line is.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like you said, the Ravens reporters are very kind. They're very objective. All of the things. And they like, dang, Jaden is trying his best, but he's not going to be able to do nothing with that line. Mm-hmm. Your secret is out. Fix that. And seriously, y'all, fix that. You will be better than you were last year. Yes, injuries are an issue, you all. 100,000%. But this man is doing all he can to lead this team on the field. And you are not making it worth his while if you're not going to protect him adequately. I'm just telling the truth. You got to protect him.
Yeah.
There's other challenges, right? There's other places that could get better, but like they need to shore up that offensive line immediately. Again, understanding, well, they should have done it back in May. Like I've been saying, so that we won't have to talk about this now. But it's a real thing. And so, and here's what I appreciate you bringing up, Louie. I appreciate you bringing up that the Ravens reporter said it. Mm-hmm. Because there's always so much like infighting with like the Commanders fan base and Commanders media, like we saying something that blah blah blah, huh? And sometimes I get it, and sometimes I don't, right?
Yeah.
But I appreciate you bringing up that the Baltimore Ravens reporters was like, "Yo, that offensive line is bad."
Yeah, because I was live today during the joint practice, and I had a bunch of Ravens, you know, be reporting. Most of them, just like y'all, weren't tweeting out anything. It was just a select few that was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just do whatever," right?
Yes.
And just listening to them and the way that they depicted, like when the joint practice happened last year with the New England Patriots, they were biased. You could tell, like they didn't want to like us, and they didn't want to report when we were doing anything good. It was different. This wasn't that. They literally was like, nah, yo, Jaden liked that, but he ain't getting no help. This bad.
That's why I said, okay, you know, I love to do the thing where it's like, well, if you don't believe me, believe them.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, there's several Ravens reporters I can point you to, and you can go and see their stand-ups. You can go and see their tweets.
Yeah.
Jaden is to be admired. Seriously. They were gushing over him even more so than their own quarterback. Yeah. Okay. But that offensive line ain't it. And I think they're going to, just be prepared. If they do something, it's going to cost at this time of year.
I can tell you this too. If y'all want to go and hear the most in-depth post-joint practice breakdown, somebody just giving you a rundown, it's a guy named Cordell Woodland.
Yep. Cordell Woodland. Yep.
I'm talking about, it's about 5 minutes long. Y'all go to his X, and he literally breaks down the entirety of the joint practice from his vantage point. It is so objective. He's a Ravens guy, but he talked about when the Commanders did good things, how it looked. If you want to see it, go check him out. And that's what I'm talking about. He was unbiased. He's like,
completely unbiased. People come on here.
It just wasn't good.
And hey, Louie, you know I'm gonna respect your wishes on your show. You say, Candi, I need you to tell the truth. Remember last year we didn't tweet, we didn't say anything because what did we say? The fan base is not gonna be able to handle it.
They ain't gonna be able to handle it. I'm like, they need to hear it, Candi. Like they need this. And everybody ain't like that. Ain't for everybody. I always tell people I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I'm okay. With that.
You already know. That's where me and you get down. I'm not for everybody.
I'm not for everybody, so that's okay. But for the people that can handle it, you come here because you know you're gonna get the real. That's what you coming here to get.
Yeah,
we don't always gotta agree, as a wise man used to say, but the admission is free, and you're gonna get the truth.
Right.
And
you're gonna get the truth here.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the truth. And I mean, Coach Quinn literally said in the press conference on Monday that Saturday was in a disarray.
It was. That's what he said. And it was.
And for anybody, media or fan, to act like, oh, it's not that serious.
Candi, they did not have practice on Monday, and
they sure did.
Had to scrap it and give them a actual full practice on Monday because he did not like what he saw on Saturday.
Listen, disarray. The head coach said that. And out of respect for Louie, because he asked me, he's like, Candi, me and Louie, we tell this story all the time. Louie, I almost got into it because I'm like, look, because I had to understand. I had to understand that even as a media person,
the world of content creators and how fans think.
Yeah.
Different.
Because I'm the person that's like, look, I'm gonna just tell you the positive things. Like I said, the one-on-ones were beautiful. Those was cute until Kyle Hamilton came back.
Right.
In team drills.
Until real football happens.
The one-on-ones was very impressive. Whoa, the routes and this. Until the same person didn't. Oh, Kyle Hamilton just ruining everybody's day. Yeah. Changes your move real quick.
Another guy that could have been a commander, by the way.
Another guy that could have been a commander.
That's another story for another day.
And because we can have that conversation and it'd be a long list of people.
Yeah,
And we could
it's
probably
long. It's a
create
long
our
list.
own team and it'd be a consistent playoff team too.
Based off of dudes they could have drafted. Yeah,
That's
of course.
right.
It's easy. It's easy though. Hindsight is 2020, obviously.
But if I'm being the positive, the defense is better. They've made changes everywhere. That's why I'm saying, okay, let's wait and see what happens here with center. Because they've literally made changes everywhere except there. And JD5 looks great, y'all. He does. He does. And that is what is bothering me more than anything. I've seen questions in the chat. Is this a fireable offense? If this, if it doesn't get rectified.
Let's get to the comment section, Candy. MC Saba, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, hey, Candy, will we be able to get a shutout this year with this defense? Last time was when I was born, September 1991.
Dang.
Shutout is, I don't want to answer for Candy, but shutouts are hard to get.
Shutouts are very hard to get. Yeah. I mean, even the Minnesota Vikings got one last year.
Of course they did. They played us.
So I would say no. But do I think that this defense can keep a team under 10 points? I do.
And if you can do that, you can get a shutout.
Yeah.
You keep a team under 10 points. You're close. You're right there.
You get a field goal. That's all you get in a day. Yeah. Or a touchdown and a field goal. That's all we're getting. 3 field goals. And that's it.
Yeah. That's hard to come by. I would love it. I'm fiending for a shutout. Was fiending against Carolina when we beat them 40-7. We should have shut them out, but it's hard to shut a team out, man. Colin Talk Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Colin writes, I always defend AP. The Tunzel injury sucks, and it does. And it really hurt this offensive line in multiple ways. It really does.
It did.
But if we get to Philly and the O-line still looks like a Colander, then I can't defend him anymore. I think a lot of people are
agreed
at that place, especially center, because to Candy's point, that was self-inflicted. You didn't have a plan B. Your plan A was Tyler Linderbaum. When that fell through, it's like you didn't think the whole process through. Because you can't convince me that Nick Allegretti was plan B. That's not if that's plan B, then it wasn't a good plan to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole argument is that, okay, so you want to move on from Tyler Biadasz? Fine. Have a plan A, B, and C, and let Nick Allegretti be your plan D. If all of these other things fall through, we can always fall back on Nick Allegretti. You had a plan A. You had no plan B or C. You just went straight to plan D. And that was pathetic. And that's the part that frustrates me. So I get that. Mamba Fats, thank you for being a member for 29 months. My God, Mamba writes, what it do, bro? What's good, Mamba? Says, it's like Candi.
Hey.
He say, Candy, why is AP so reactionary and not precautionary as for having quality depth on the roster and waiting to the last minute to do something? Why is he not proactive? Why is he being reactive? That's what you said earlier.
I said it earlier. It has been the most bizarre thing that I've seen this regime do thus far. In 3 years of covering this regime. It's bizarre. It's giving, I'ma say it. I remember last year.
I was waiting for you to say this eventually. I knew it was coming. I'm gonna let you tell it.
Like she just being listen, I'm not coming.
Yeah, go ahead.
After joint practice in New England preseason game 1, Matt Gay was missing those kicks, and he had been missing kicks since May. Somebody was like, "You gonna bring in another kicker?" Nope. We have all the faith in Matt.
Yeah.
We asked for a while, and it took him missing that kick in Madrid. For them to get rid of Matt. And all the only question was bring in another kicker.
Right.
That was it. Just didn't, don't release him and all.
Right.
It's preseason. Bring in someone else to compete with Matt
him
for the job.
Yeah, that's it.
That was the only question.
They
Nope, we believe in him. Nope. Is giving that also backfired.
It did massively.
This is backfiring, everybody.
Which is why I think they're going to do something. Which is why you think they're going to do something.
Oh, 100%. I believe they're going to do something because now your secret is out.
Yeah,
it's backfiring in front of everybody.
And that's why I said today needed to happen. A day like today needed to happen because
Saturday needed to happen,
and Saturday,
and then today needed to happen
because
I hated that it happened though, y'all. This has pained me since last Wednesday. It really has. Like, oh gosh, everybody is getting ready to find out what this looks like. I'm actually the media person that doesn't want you all to know. Like, I don't want you to know. Like,
we need to know. And that's why I said you have to play the starters, because I need to be able to set reasonable expectations. Now I can, right? Now I know what it is, and now they know what it is. More importantly, now they can act accordingly. They should have done this before, because this is not like this didn't just happen on Saturday. The center position been broke.
Yeah,
we've been waiting for you to fix it.
Yeah.
HK Hawkins.
I just said I was effing brutal right now. Hey man,
no, we need it. That's what we need. We need honesty. A wise woman used to always say to my best friend growing up, "You could call me Frank Blunt because I'm frank and I'm blunt." That's what we need Candi to be, frank and blunt.
They made improvements everywhere, you all. I'm very pleased. I'm not come out, but
Candi, you ain't got to explain yourself.
I'm not gonna explain to myself anymore because everybody they'll be like, Candi, you've been watching this all summer. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Y'all, can y'all believe this? I've been sitting in practices since May watching this. Oh my God.
How is it acceptable that training camp is over now and suddenly the team is realizing that center is a problem when we all knew months ago?
It's not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not acceptable. I rarely am like, yeah, y'all get them. I'm rarely that way. Like, get them. But this is worth getting because it's just unnecessary. It's an unnecessary problem. Centers are available.
Very much so. Like I that's why I said the only thing I can point to say to give them the benefit of the doubt, if that's even worth doing at this point, is to say you made it this far in the process, and the 53-man roster cuts are literally days away. Maybe somebody will spring free, and you'll have an opportunity to get someone without having to give anything up, or somebody better than what's available might shake free. It could be a surprise cut you don't think about or you didn't see coming, whatever the case may be. But that could have been the case for Will Harris. You could have held on to him. You didn't. You moved on.
That's my point.
Yeah. You could have you went and signed DJ Humphries.
Because here's the thing. Everybody else that's been bad,
you got rid of them.
They got rid of. And I said, this was okay, and now they gone. See?
That's why I'm like, why is Julian Good-Jones still here?
I mean, I'm the one who said that I felt like the kicker competition should have went at least through this week.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, Drew was winning. He was 110% winning.
Drew Stevens himself
already.
Drew Stevens himself said,
I
don't know why they got rid of him.
And he's telling the truth.
And like, that's the guy that won the competition saying that. Like, they didn't have to move on from him. They could have held on to him. Like, why is Julian Good-Jones still here?
Listen, I have almost had a meltdown in so many different instances sooner.
Always happy. Always happy.
So the person who keeps talking about my tan, imagine this, and I wear a hat. I've been sitting outside getting this tan, watching this. That is what I've been doing. Okay? With a hat on.
Yeah, with a Cliff Kingsbury special.
With a Cliff Kingsbury hat. He inspired that hat. He actually told me the kind of hat to get. I couldn't get one with a W on it, so he did help in that. Yeah. Thank you. But I mean, like,
but, Cliff, man.
Come on. Like,
Always happy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right.
woo.
Adam Peters got some terrible cooking. I wouldn't say that. You guys are harsh. Like he had a, like Candy said, they've made a lot of good moves. The
They
one
made a
thing
lot
that
of good moves, you
a
all.
lot
They-
more
a
good than
lot
bad,
more.
y'all. Like,
110. Please don't take my negativity on this. Well, let me be clear. This isn't even negativity. This is just fact finding and truth telling about the center position. But they made so many good moves. You see these guys working so hard, doing all the right things, and this is the way that it is. Doesn't add up, and it was unnecessary too, self-inflicted.
yeah. DMV Bay, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Seems like AP wants to treat JD5 like Shanny treated Robert Griffin III. I'm not. I don't see that. I don't really get.
No,
Yeah.
it's no. I know this is completely, and I thank you for the super chat, but no, that's not it.
Yeah, I don't buy that one at all. And he's not saying that, he's asking, and we don't agree.
No. I just think.
Christopher McLaughlin, my guy C-Mac, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Our guy Chris writes, hey, Lou and Candy, what's up, Chris? Says, hope you are both well. Likewise. 2 questions for Candy. 1, what would the team consider a successful year for Josh Conley Jr. and why? And 2, what are the 3 biggest questions needing answers outside of O-line before the season starts?
Love the questions. I mean, I think a successful year for Josh Conley Jr. is just the limiting of the sacks on his side. They do capture that as a data point and a metric point. Of course, staying healthy, playing on 100% of the offensive snaps like he did last year, but also who's getting to the quarterback on his side, on his dime. It was on him. When you go back and watch the film, when you go back and look at the stats. So if that number stays low, that's a successful year for him. Yes, it's just year 2, but he played 100% of the offensive snaps. So you got a lot of experience last year. It was a typical rookie year, right? With playing 100% of the offensive snaps. So I think the limiting of those quarterback pressures on his, and I'll just go ahead and say it, and his name needs to start being talked about as someone that teams are planning for and game planning for.
They're targeting
him like, whoa, can't go over here, can't go over there, you know. So I think this is where that needs to start trending up for him. I just feel that way. And the biggest questions needing answers outside O-line before the season starts: who's your wide receiver core? Who are they? Or is somebody gonna be, you know, in a draft package? I think that's still a big question. I think your linebacker core is still a question. I think it's still a question. And you brought it up earlier. I think your interior defensive line is still a question as well. I think your corners are your corners. And I think your safeties are now your safeties. But yeah, that's what I would say right now.
Mamba Fats, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, speaking of Jaden, Candy in his presser today, they was talking to him about the O-line, and he said everyone in the organization has a job to do. Do you think he was directed that at AP? Because I do.
Yeah. I think he was talking about himself. You know, his job, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Everybody has a job to do. So he's like, I'm focusing on doing my job. And he's like, the offensive line need to do their job. And everybody else need to do their job. He can't be concerned about the offensive line job, you know, when he's the quarterback. He's got to do his part. That's what I think.
I think this will be your last one. I know you got to get out of here. So we'll get you out of here on this one. Command OGJ, thank you for super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I feel bad for Blau. We want to play under center more. What center Are we doomed to a Cliff derivative shotgun offense? Say it ain't so, Candi.
It's not supposed to be that way. I feel bad for Coach Blau too. I feel like somebody was asking about. I'm confident in both coordinators, but the execution is what it is. It disarray. If you don't believe me, you can believe Dan Quinn in that regard because he used the word disarray, so we can all use the word disarray as well. It was in a disarray, and it might have only been. It was only 3 snaps. Why? Because the Detroit Lions got him off the field that fast.
That's right.
Let's
it was
be clear
always going to
that.
be one possession, but
it was
didn't
always
have to
going to be
3
one
snaps.
series. It was always going to be one series.
Yeah.
But
it didn't have to
was
be 3
just the
plays.
3,
right?
Because they got off the field just that fast.
That's right.
So I mean, the talent there is lacking. The talent there is lacking. I think he's doing the best that he can with what he has. So it's not good. And maybe he has a hand in some of this. I mean, if you're going to go out, why don't you just go ahead and let Matt G get the reps? I mean, if this is how it's going to be, just let the rookie get the reps. Like, that's where I'm at with it. Even though it wasn't good today either. But, you know.
At least he has an excuse. He's a rookie. And he can develop. Like, Julian Good-Jones been around for like 5 years. A developmental guy. He wasn't supposed to be a guy we were relying on this year.
Guy.
Yeah. So,
which I got an issue with that too. But we can talk about that for another day.
All right, girl. Let me get you out of here. I really appreciate the time as always. We all do. Candi, tell everyone where they can find your work before you get out of here.
You know, y'all, it'll be okay. I almost told Louie, tell everybody go to bed.
Yeah. No. We did a breathing exercise before at the beginning, Candi. We good. And I'm gonna do one more before we leave. We're gonna do one more breathing exercise.
Do one more and they'll do something.
Yes, they will.
Now, what it's gonna cost them though. So we have to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
And maybe after everybody gets cut, Sunday, Sunday at 6:00.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and bring somebody in or somebody's and get them going because there is practice a couple days next week.
Yeah. There's still 2 full weeks before you play the Eagles after the cuts.
Oh yeah.
So, still time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, we don't know the status of Nick Allegretti's injury, but I mean, hey, let's keep it a buck. He hasn't really practiced much of training camp.
Yeah. Facts.
Due to the injury.
He singled out him and Trey today as 2 guys that he's extremely concerned about because they basically haven't practiced at all this summer.
Remember I brought up when Trey got hurt, but we're not going.
Candi, you gotta get out of here.
I gotta go.
Gotta get out of here. Tell everybody what they can find your work.
Because I was like, yeah. The quickest way to find me is on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Seawall SE. Okay, make sure you all are subscribed to Bowie TV on YouTube, following Bowie TV on Facebook, and then it's Bowie TV Sports on X and on Instagram. So
I got all that in the description of this video as always. Candi. We love you. Thank you so much for the time.
And I love you all too. Thank you for all the people that like truth.
Yes.
Keep what you say, Louie? Hopium. Yeah.
Hopium. I exposed Candi to the hopium the other night. She said, "Yeah, you can keep that. I don't want any of it." I said, "You sure, Candi? It does tend to cause some of the side." I gave her the side effects. Delusion is one of them. Homerism is another one. I said, but they're also great vibes. Right? She was like, "Yeah, I'm good. You keep that." But I'm like, "All right, I'm just telling you, if you need it, I got it." She was like, "Yeah, you keep that hopium, brother." So I'm gonna shoot a couple more doses up because today I need it. This was rough. It was rough, but we need this, Candi. This is therapeutic.
Defense got pressure.
Yep.
It was a great defense. Got pressure. Mikey Sanders still got a pick in the end zone. Jaden just threw it up.
Yeah.
Antonio Williams. I was
down
watching Antonio, so I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I was watching Antonio, and I said, he put the skates on to get that football. They knew. It was like, hey, we got to close this out big.
Yeah.
This has been a rough day.
Yeah.
He turned on the gas. I was like,
Yeah.
let's go. Thank God. Because I was like, they needed that.
They needed to end on a high note.
And they were all very happy. They all ran across the field and they were all acting like maniacs. And I instantly became happy for them.
Yeah.
Because
they needed it. They needed it. It was rough. They needed it. They needed to end on a high note. Right? Like, they needed to feel good going back up I-95 or down I-95. They needed that.
They do. Watch for the bubble guys. Watch for the Darius Rushes or Antonio Hamiltons, like those, that could still make this roster.
Ale Cajo.
Yeah.
All those guys. Came and drawn all those dudes. Yep.
Yeah. Sure. And word to Coach Jones, Durante Jones is doing something special. And David Blau, I think, can too, as soon as they get his center group right. As soon as they get his offensive line right, he can do it.
I'm with you, Candy. I believe in the coordinators.
I believe in the coordinators. Yeah. See, I'm not all negative. The coordinators doing a good thing.
Yep.
But you got to get in their pieces.
That's right. Candy, have a great night.
I'm not buying any hopium.
Look, man, I'm going to leave you a couple vials, though, just in case. And you just never know when you'll need it. You can put them away in your dresser drawer, and you might say, you know what? Louie is right. I think I need some. You said you said what about the positivity? You said you was doing what?
Preserving my positivity.
That's what hopium is. Preserving positivity in a bottle, Candy. That's what hopium is. It's preserving positivity in a bottle. You need it. You just don't know when you're going to need it. I'm going to provide you with some. You don't got to use it yet. You're going to need it, though.
I am going to need it. I am. All right.
All right, girl.
See y'all.
All right. Have a good one. All right. I'm going to get to the rest of these supers. And then we'll get out of here, man. Candy's the best. So let's get to HK Hawkins. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. HK writes, we created this center situation when we cut Tyler. And, Ed said that at the Commanders Kings event on Sunday that we should have never cut Tyler. And my rebuttal to that is he got hurt anyway. He's out for the season. And Ed's response was, you don't know if he would have gotten hurt here. True. You don't know what would have happened here. But ultimately, they weren't pleased with him. My problem was never that they cut Tyler Biadasz. My problem was when they did it, not trying to extract value. That same draft pick that they might have been able to get for him, they could have been trading that away to get us a real center now, right? Like the fact that they were so hasty in moving on from him, it just didn't make any sense. Like I feel like the one thing that AP has botched, and his hit rate is like at 97% this offseason. The one thing that stops it from being at 100 is center. And if you want to knock him, another 5 or 10% for that, go right ahead. We can say his hit rate is at 85%. And the reason it's not at 100 is because of how he's botched the center situation. Everything else, he just knocked out of the park. From Stephon Diggs to the pass rushing group now to the defense. Safety is something, maybe corner, maybe you're not necessarily in love with that, but we'll see if those positions don't have enough or not. Ultimately, Durante Jones told him what he wanted at corner, told him what he wanted at safety, and they went and got, some players. The center position, they dropped the ball. Adam Peters dropped the ball. But it's not too late, right? A wise man once told me it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. Right? It's not too late. They can still fix this. And they will. They will. Command OGJ. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Command OGJ writes, I'm secretly hoping we got a whole shadow offensive line unit we roll out with in week 1 to shock the Eagles. Not a whole different group that we've been hiding this entire time that we're just waiting to roll out in week 1 and shock the world. We've got them right where we want them. Our evil plan it's working to perfection, right? I don't think that's the case, Command OGJ. I don't think that's the case at all. But oh man, I'm not sure that that's the case at all. CGM 87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. CGM writes, do you think a 3-6 win season gets DQ and AP fired, just DQ, or do they run it back a fourth year and blame injuries? Oh, a 3-6 win season. Oh, okay, a 3-win season gets DQ fired for sure. A 4-win season gets DQ fired for sure. A 5-win season, there's a conversation that is being had. I don't know if he actually gets fired. 6 wins, I don't think he gets fired, but there's a chance. Okay, 3 or 4 wins, and he's absolutely fired. No questions asked. Adam Peters doesn't get fired in any scenario. He's safe. He gets to hire another coach. So DQ is definitely in a dangerous spot if this team doesn't win at least 6 games. 5 games, I think he's very much so in the crosshairs. 6 games, I think there's a conversation. I still think he remains the head coach here. But 3 or 4 wins, he's fired for sure, without question. Injuries or not, he's fired. HK Hawkins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, thanks for a good group session, a therapy session, Louie. I'll tell you what, we got one more Woosah therapy session at the end where we just relax everybody, bring everybody down, and then we will get out of here at the end. So stay tuned for that, because I think we all need it. Today was a rough day. I'm not going to hold you. Today was rough, but it was necessary. I feel like today was a necessary evil. We needed today to ensure that they couldn't find a way to bury their head in the sand about the offensive line, specifically the center position. You couldn't, you could try to convince yourself that Julian Good-Jones was the problem, and now we're going to give Matt Golbin a chance. That's what they've been doing this week. He got his ass whooped today too, and now you can't run from the fact that Julian Good-Jones ain't the answer, and neither is Matt Golbin, and you can't trust Nick Allegretti to stay healthy. You have to do something, and whether or not they were going to do it before feels like they have to do it now. That's why today was important. So I'm not mad at today. I'm not glad at it, but I am absolutely 100% positively not mad about today. That's for sure. CGM 87. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou, I didn't think a unit could be worse than the Nats bullpen. This O-line said, hold my beer. AP better do something, or Sober Scott moniker is returning. No, you did not call this man Sober Scott, bruh. Stop it. Y'all get on my nerves, man. Hey, chill, bro. Chill. Adam, look. Adam is going to rectify this. And I can say this with 100% certainty. Adam has put together a better roster this year. Obviously, you couldn't account. The Laramie Tunzel injury caused all of this shit. This is the ripple effect. The center position might have still been an issue, but the offensive line as a whole would have been better. And so, like, there wouldn't be jailbreaks, and there wouldn't just be this constant onslaught of defenders in the face of Jaden Daniels. Like, for instance, the first play of the game wasn't Julian Good-Jones getting beat immediately. It was Brandon Coleman getting destroyed, which caused Jaden to then run to his right, which then allowed Julian Good-Jones to get his ass kicked. Like, it's not just center right now. It's a confluence of things. It's left tackle. It's center. Cosme was out today, so that made it right guard as well. And so it's a bit of an overreaction, but it's a necessary overreaction because Cosme is going to be back. And they're going to be able to help Brandon Coleman, and he's going to get better as he gets more reps at left tackle. Center has to be fixed. But if Tunzel was still here at left tackle and Coleman was still competing at left guard, who knows, like, how much better the line could have been. Maybe it wouldn't have been that much better at left guard, but tackle, obviously, left tackle would have been, he's a top 3 tackle in the league. And so that hurts you at not just one spot, potentially 2 spots. Not to mention they have to fix center. So the roster that Adam Peters has assembled, it's a good roster. It's not a great roster. Far from it. Even if we were completely healthy, it's far from a great roster. A lot of work still needs to be done. But it's a formidable roster, and it's the most talent that Jaden's had surrounding him in his young NFL career. It's better than anything that I feel like Scott McCloughan put together in his time here. Sober Scott put together here. I can't with y'all, man. I cannot with y'all. I cannot with y'all. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor, Ariel. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, AP chummy with Oakland GM need to trade for backup center. We had that conversation earlier. I forgot who brought it up, but he said trade for Johnson, Jackson Powers Johnson, right? I'm with it. Jackson Powers Johnson, former Oregon center. He could play both guard and center. You know how they love their versatility on the interior. We need a center. He can play center. They went out and got Tyler Linderbaum. I'm not telling you Jackson Powers Johnson is this world beater center, but he's better than anything we got here. That's for damn sure. And he can start. He can start. Call up John Spatek. That's your boy, right? You challenged him on the ALS challenge. Shout out to Chris Johnson. Call your boy John Spatek up. See if he ain't trying to get this Van Jefferson up off you, man. See if he ain't trying to get this Van Jefferson up off you. We'll even throw in a Luke McCaffrey for free. No, I kid. Yeah, pick up the phone, make the call. Pick up the phone, make the call. James LaRue, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, James LaRue, writes, hope they on top of the waiver wire and try to trade some late rounders for depth borderline starters, Lou. I can't watch Jaden go through this again. SOTG, I'm with you. I think that's the bulk of this fan base. Like, he deserves better. And they got to do right by him. And it's not like they have completely neglected these positions, but they got to do right by him. They got to do right by him. Drew, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Drew writes, Jaden will make the O-line look better with escapability. But that's the problem, Drew. He shouldn't have to. It's good that he can. He shouldn't have to. Can Patrick Mahomes escape? Yeah, but he had to too much last year. He had to do it way too much last year. Like, he even said, I ran too much last year. That's why I got hurt. At some point, just because you can doesn't mean you should or you should have to. I need you to remember that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should or you should have to. Command 1856. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou. What's up? Tough times. Yeah, today was rough, but it was a necessary evil. It was necessary. With what we're seeing, where's your head when it comes to our prospective record? Trying not to spiral, but trying to be real. I haven't wavered on where I am. Look, I got the hopium, baby. So I think that first of all, I'm of the mindset. I'm not one of these doom and gloomers who think that Adam Peters is the worst general manager and oh my God, he's had a horrible offseason. I said this yesterday before they even signed DJ Humphries. I said this. I did 2 videos yesterday. The first video I did when they released Will Harris and Malik Spencer, I said they're going to have to revamp the depth on the O-line because it's not good enough. As soon as I said that, they released Foster Sorrell, they signed DJ Humphries. That's the first step on the road to recovery, is acknowledging that there's a problem. Acknowledging that there's a problem. Well, they did that. They acknowledged that there's a problem. Now, you need to go and start the process of fixing said problem. What is the solution? The solution, now that you've acknowledged the problem, which is the offensive line depth, fix it. DJ Humphries, check. Go get you a center, check. I would love it if you went and got you a better backup guard. Get rid of Trent Scott. You're not going to do that. You know, I'm pushing the envelope a bit too far. I get it. But you can get rid of Julian Good-Jones. And if you said, Matt Golden, you're not ready yet, we'll let you get some seasoning. We'll put you in the crock pot on the practice squad. I'm with that too. But ultimately, you need to do something, and they will. So I haven't wavered. There's too much talent on this team. Jaden's too good, and I believe, and most importantly, if I didn't believe in the coordinators, I don't give a damn about how much talent they've added. If the line was this bad, I would not have the belief that I have if I didn't believe in the coordinators. I believe in David Blau, and I believe in Durante Jones. So believing in those two and Jaden gives me the belief that this team still is going to win 10, 11 games. The number is 11 for me. 11-6 is my number. I talked about that at the show on Sunday. 11-6 is my number. But we're going to see. You know, we're going to see what happens with this team. The product, when they start game planning, is going to look a lot better, a lot different than what you've seen this summer. To Candy's point, you can't out-scheme every team. Sometimes talent supersedes scheme. You can't, if we're not better, when you play the Rams, they got Myles Garrett and they're gonna have Aaron Donald. Never, ever trust a man with two first names. You can't out-scheme that shit. They're just more talented than us. So you're gonna have to actually play football or you're gonna get your ass beat. You get where I'm going with this? You see what you picking up what I'm putting down? There's some teams where, hey, the shit might not be the cleanest, but we can out-scheme them. We can out-coach them. Rams coach is probably better than our coaches if we keeping it a buck. So you're not winning that. You ain't out-scheming Sean McVay, and they got better talent. So you just might be done for. You just might be. So you got to figure it out. It's a balance. I still got us being a good football team. I just lowered my expectations for this offense out of the gates. That's what seeing everything transpire has done, is I lowered my expectation for this offense. Because week one, I was like, man, we going into Philly, we going to put up 27. Nah, I don't think that's what's going to happen. You might have to beat Philly on some 17-13 type shit. You might have to beat Philly on some 20-17 type shit. I don't really give a shit. We could beat Philly 9-6. We could beat Philly 3-0. I really don't give a shit. We could beat Philly 4-3. 2 safeties. I don't care. I just want to win the game. We could talk about how ugly it was. Oh my God, this offense is terrible. Hey, put one in the left-hand column while you at it. Really don't give a shit. So, yeah, I'm not spiraling. That's not in my DNA unless it warrants it. And I'll tell you when I get to that point. It's August. I'm not there yet. Especially with the roster being what it is. I'm not there yet. So, off to another world. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Off to another world writes, how many times have we seen AP make a splash move that came out of nowhere? AP works in the shadows. We know this. Facts. I already told you, I believe in AP. Again, a lot of fans are doing the woe is me. AP is this, he's that. Oh my God. AP is the worst. He's all that. That's not me. Because I've said this already. Adam Peters is always like, one thing I don't like that I've seen that is a trend from him is a lot of times he waits. And while waiting can be a gift, it can also be a curse, right? There's value in waiting, but then there's also a drawback to waiting because you allow situations to kind of fester and things to happen. They could have addressed the center position before here, but again, you wait now. You've allowed the process to play itself out. You see what shakes free, and then you make a very conscious and informed decision as to how to move next. Feel like they could have done it already. It's the same way I felt about the Stephon Diggs situation. Like, maybe they needed to see what Debo was going to get to kind of set the market for what they were going to pay Stephon Diggs. Maybe it was a money thing, but felt like they could have gotten that done a lot sooner. Didn't have to take as long as it did, but they got it done. That's the most important part. Took them a while, but they got Rasul Douglas in here. That's a necessary part, you know, from a defensive depth standpoint. He always figures it out. Got DJ Humphries in here. That's a necessary evil. Needed to do that. He's going to figure it out with center, too. To Candy's point, there could be a trade. We've had a trade every summer that he's been here. We haven't had one yet. Maybe one's on the horizon. Who knows? We'll see. James LaRue, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy James writes, not only does he deserve better, we do. Hashtag 757 stand up. We in the building. Y'all know what it is. Facts. We as fans deserve better. I always tell y'all this. Nobody deserves success more than us as fans. Gosh, we deserve better. I think better's coming. I think better is coming. But right now, honestly speaking, it doesn't feel like it. And I get that. I get that. Today was rough. No other way to say it. Today was rough, but tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day. Let's get a quick word from our sponsor, come back on the other side, and then we will have our calming session where we will decompress before we get out of here. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this stream. If you are a member of the PrizePicks family, you're in luck. If you are not a member of the PrizePicks family, rather, you are in luck. Because, one, if you are a member, you're in luck because there's a lot of great opportunities that exist for you. If you're not, link is in the description of this video. Click that link. It'll take you to where you can download the app. App is available in states like California, Florida, and Texas, and so many others across the U.S. Use the promo code HMA as you see on the screen. That will unlock a fantastic opportunity for you. Play $5, whether that's a 2-pick power play lineup, a 3-pick flex lineup, whatever you think is the best way for you to win that $5 lineup, do it. If you win that $5 lineup, you will get $150 instantly in lineup bonuses when you use the promo code HMA. I think I'm going to put together a PrizePicks ticket for y'all tomorrow in the WNBA space. I didn't love the WNBA games tonight, I'll be honest with you. So I kind of stayed away. Two games that they weren't evenly matched. And the second one that was more evenly matched, it was 2 bad teams. I just stayed away. So tomorrow is a much better slate. It's only 2 games, but there are 2 games that I think have a chance to be a little fruitful for us. So we will attack those tomorrow. But and we'll start taking a look at some of this NFL week 1 action, some NFL futures for the entire season. I think I'm going to try to put together a couple of those with you guys. And we'll be tracking those throughout the course of the season to see how they're holding up. So if you're not on PrizePicks, get your affairs in order so you can either tail my picks or you can maybe take bits and pieces and parts from my lineups that I'm putting together and then create your own, whatever the case may be. We're going to smack PrizePicks this year. I'm telling y'all, I'm so much wiser than I was a year ago this time. I'm ready to smack. Me and Rio been talking about, we going to smack these boys this year, man. Come get y'all some, man. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this stream. All right. James LaRue, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, also, I've done the same as you, Lou. First day of high school, I said, damn, this school's so old, they don't have urinals. And then it hit me. This is the women's bathroom. Bruh, it didn't even like dawn on me, bruh. Like I literally went in the bathroom to change, right? So my mind wasn't on using the bathroom. I wasn't looking around, peeping the scene, right? I was just like, let me just go to the back stall, like the big stall, and close it, and let me just get dressed, right? So on my way to the back, I saw all these damn doors, and I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of doors in here. But I'm like, like I said, the event space that we were at, Hook Hall, it's a rustic feel, right? So I was like, maybe this is a part of the appeal. Like it's just a bunch of doors in here, and that's cool. Like, whatever. And it wasn't until I came out and Rico was coming out of the men's bathroom. And I'm so glad a woman didn't actually come in the bathroom while I was in there. That would have been all bad. But it just so happens that and the good thing was really there wasn't a lot of people there yet. No one had been allowed into the facility. It was still hours away from the event starting, so I was good. But I walked out, and Rico's coming out. He's like, "Bro, did you just come out of the women's bathroom?" And I looked back, and I looked at the door, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's why there were so many doors." That's why there were so many doors. No more locked doors. There's so many locked doors, man. I was out of pocket, man. I was tripping. All right, y'all. Let's have this woosah session before we go, man. Y'all ready? All right. I need y'all to breathe. All right. Close your eyes. We're gonna be fine, y'all. I promise. We're gonna be fine. Close your eyes. Deep breaths. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Don't you feel better? You should. Because I do. I needed that. I think we all needed that. Okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. We're going to be fine. Tony Brown, my guy, downtown Tony Brown, says, sup, Hitman Louie T. Sup, downtown Tony Brown. We have to relax. That's why we just had our woosah session. AP has got something up his sleeve. He just likes to wait for the best deal. And we know if there's one thing our general manager loves, it's a good deal. So do I. But I'm also a guy that is willing to pay for convenience as well. And feels like he is willing to wait out for the best deal despite the inconvenience that it's causing. And at some point, I draw the line. Okay, I'm being a little bit stretched here, a bit inconvenienced. Let's just get this done. He's not operating in that space. But I agree with you. He's got something up his sleeve. He's going to do something. I expect it. I've been expecting it. And I think he loves a great deal. And I think relaxing is what we need to do. I think I agree with you. So breathe, y'all. We got this. We got this. Enjoy the preseason game on Friday. I think tomorrow, there not being anything going on, it's good for the soul. Just relax. Just relax. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Big shout out to our girl Candi Waller for coming and blessing us on an excellent episode of Seawall Wednesdays, breaking down the joint practice and just talking about this team overall and where we are, bringing some truth and some harsh reality to all of us, which we needed to hear, right? She doesn't think Jordan McGee is making the team right now. Like if she had to pick, that's probably the only place I disagree with her. I can't see them cutting Jordan McGee. I just don't think he's a fixture on this roster right now. And she's been on the Jordan McGee not making the team train for a minute though. She's been saying that for quite a while since camp started. She's been saying, I don't know about Jordan McGee. Remember how I looked at her and we had that whole conversation. She said, I know I didn't say his name. So she's been on the Jordan McGee not making the roster train. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But I digress. You guys have a good one. See you next time. Peace.